It's time for Twig. This week in Google, Jeff's here, Paris is here, I'm here. There is, of course, absolutely nothing to talk about, but we're going to vamp for a whole 2.5 hours. Maybe some of the things we'll talk about, the heat death of the internet, what is going on at Tesla, the TikTok lawsuit, they're trying to stay alive, and a few fun TikTok things to remind us of the creativity there. And maybe one of the reasons the internet is so bad is because the AIs are taking over. Plus, what went wrong at BuzzFeed? It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 767, recorded Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. Never hug an Elmo. It's time for Twig, This Week in Google, the show we talk about the latest news from the Googleverse with Paris Martineau, superstar reporter from The Information. Hi, Paris. Paris looks a little different today because she's on her Mac camera, which actually looks pretty fine.
I mean, it looks pretty fine as someone who hasn't used their Mac camera this entire show. But as for that, I blame Apple.
We see your Monstera clearly. I think it's
true.
Good.
It's
what did you do? You
large I can't go onto that side of the office. I upgraded my Mac OS, and apparently that just ruined everything in my life. But I will say I upgraded it so that I could try out a new AI-powered transcription service that's local to your device and uses Whisper from OpenAI.
I use that.
That's my pick of the week, so I won't say more.
I know what you're talking about, though. I've been using it for some time. And
fantastic.
It's really amazing, yeah. Paris also has a hot new story in The Information, which we'll talk about in a moment. But first, it's time to say hello to everybody's favorite emeritus, the Leonard Tao Professor Emeritus for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Hello, Jeff Jarvis.
Hello, boss.
Hello. Next week is Google I.O., and we will be flip-flopping shows. So we will be doing This Week in Google on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, to cover the Google I.O. conference. Jeff and I will be there. Paris cannot, alas, because Tuesday is her big skee ball tournament or something.
Something like that. Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, that's definitely the time people play skee ball.
It's the hot time for skee ball. No, it's practice. Practice is very important, too.
It's true. Very important.
So we'll miss Paris next week, but we are looking. We'll get somebody in to join me and Jeff. So we'll cover Google I.O. and make that the This Week in Google. And that's normally the Mac Break Weekly time slot, so we'll move Mac Break Weekly to Wednesday. So at this time. So it'll be flip-flopped, if that makes sense to everybody.
Who says running a podcast empire is easy?
Oh, my God.
It's not.
It's such a challenge.
Complicated.
Do you notice these are not my Vinylized record glasses. These are a new pair of, these are Meta glasses. And actually, they're clear. In fact, I should just pop the lenses out.
I was going to say, they've got the Ray-Ban logo on the lens.
I know, it's really annoying. I can't peel that off. Do all Ray-Bans do that? It's kind of annoying.
Wait, you can't peel it off? That would drive me insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop the lenses out because they're just clear lenses because I didn't get my prescription.
That's gonna look even dorkier.
Is it?
Wait,
it is.
You're saying glasses without lenses, Leo?
Yeah, that's
when the kids back in the day would go to the 3D movies and they popped the lenses out so they could look like nerds.
All of the really, I didn't know about that. All of the guts of this are nothing. The lenses do nothing. Unlike the new Brilliant glasses, which I'm getting sometime soon, the Brilliant Labs glasses, which have a heads-up display. These are just nothing lenses. All of the guts of the Meta glasses are in the sides here. That's where the batteries and the compute is, and there are cameras on either temple. Can you see those? If I shoot a movie by tapping and holding this, you see that light comes on.
Oh, light goes on, yeah.
So there's like a tally light.
It looks like you're getting a transmission from the spaceship.
So are you recording something right now?
Yeah, I'm recording a movie right now. And then
huge.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's huge. And then I could take a picture either by tapping that or going, "Hey Meta, take a picture."
Because, that's what you want to do whenever you take a photo.
Yeah, you can tap this. But I can also, it's now got Meta's AI attached to it. So, and I've been playing with it. I went to the bathroom and I said, hey, Meta, what am I looking at? And it said a urinal with a stainless steel handle.
It could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
Hey, Meta, send a photo of this to my doctor.
I looked at the studio. Here, I'll do it again. Hey, Meta, what am I looking at? It takes a little while.
Why doesn't it?
It's not doing anything. Hey, Meta. It's making a funny sound.
Do you think it's camera shy?
Yeah. Hey, Meta. Hey, Meta. What am I looking at? Otis thinking now. You're looking at a studio setup with multiple screens.
I could hear it.
We heard it.
You can kind of hear it, right? Because these are speakers are good. Benito Gonzalez, our technical director and producer, listened to them and it sounded good, right, Benito?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like there were speakers outside.
Are you playing music now, Leo?
Yeah, I can. It's great.
Put the microphone closer to your head.
Listen to my books while we're doing the show, and you'll never know.
That's great. Finally, you can multitask like Jeff.
Hey.
You can hear that, right?
We're going to get taken down from YouTube again.
I know. I don't know. It's interesting. It was Mike Elgin loves these. He was all singing his praises. I thought for the price I could have paid and didn't for the Vision Pro, I could get like every little AI doohickey out there. So I did.
What do these run now?
I think they're around 300.
And do you have to have a monthly fee or no?
No. You do have to have, which is a disadvantage, a Meta account.
Well, yeah.
But I happen to have
you
one.
do have that. Yeah.
I made it. I'm glad I did. Let me just look at the pricing here real quickly. They're Ray-Bans, so they came to me from Luxottica, which is kind of interesting. And, look, they have kind of a variety.
The world's biggest monopoly when it comes to eyewear.
So these are the Wayfarers. They're 300 without prescription. And I imagine a prescription adds something to it. But they have a lot of styles. I don't know. I think it's, this is obviously not an end game product. This is a transitional product. But I think it's kind of interesting. Here, I'll show you the pictures. You pair it with your smartphone app, Meta View, and you can see, let's see, some pictures here. Here's the studio. Oh, there's a video. So it's pretty wide angle. I took a video earlier of Jeff. Let me see. Oh, there's Benito at his board.
Oh, hi, Benito.
Oh, yeah. You've never met Benito.
Hi.
There he is.
Wow. Can you zoom in? I've never seen Benito.
I don't know.
Benito.
I don't think this is Benito. I guessed.
Isn't it funny how you imagine
hair was a little longer?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, we thought he was.
I also did imagine kind of shaggy hair for some reason.
Yeah, I did too.
He's a rocker.
You give that vibe.
Well, that's it.
Benito.
That's why. Yeah.
I used to have long hair, so.
Here is here's walking through the set. And what's interesting is it does say, there's Jeff, just right before the show.
I was reading.
It does say it looks like a TV studio set up for streaming. So that's the picture I just took. So it's, this is my view. So, I mean, for $300, it's kind of, it's a thing of interest. I wouldn't recommend it.
Can you put your prescriptions in it?
Yes. Mine, no, because I have very strong prescription. They declined.
What's your prescription, Leo?
Bad.
You know prescriptions?
If I
don't know.
told
I
you,
just
would
always
it be
find
meaningful?
it funny. It would be meaningful. I have medium bad eyesight.
Oh,
I've got like a -4, -5 situation.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if you were like in the -10s. That's blind.
No. My contacts are -4.5 in the left, -5.5 in the right. But the glasses prescription, I think, is -6 or 6.5. And they wouldn't go quite that high. I could have got the contact. In fact, that's what I do with Brilliant Labs. I got a little bit of a weaker prescription. But I'm wearing these with my contacts and clear lenses, which is why I'm really tempted to just pop them out.
They look cute. It's a good,
they're not. I feel like they're
face.
too small. I was going to give them to Micah because he's got a small head. But Because I have such a big head. I think mine should be.
Yeah, I will say I'm
wider.
going to have to go. I'm tempted by this, but I will have to go try them on in person because I have a very big head too.
Yeah.
Most commercial hats do not fit me.
Same here.
Same
This
here.
is a big head show.
Wow, a big head
The big head
podcast.
show.
This week in big heads.
My hat size is 7.5. What's yours?
I didn't even know there were hat sizes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
7 3/4.
Oh, even bigger than me. Wow.
When I was in college, I really wanted a leather hat. You know, like it.
Wait, what do you mean a leather hat?
It was brimmed leather hat you were supposed to wear in college when you were going hippie like, right? And I searched all over and searched over. And I finally got one, and it just kind of sat on top like a beanie.
Yeah.
Like a cowboy hat? Or like
No, it's a hippie.
like Google
hat.
leather hat and just cowboy hats come up.
I have a leather cowboy hat, but I also have a leather top hat. And when I was actually, it was funny, when I was in high school or college, I had a big floppy leather top hat. The leather wasn't
Oh my
stiff enough.
gosh.
And so it kind of worked a jaw down over the, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good look.
It's kind of, mine was more like an Australian hat.
Yeah. There you go. That's the picture, Paris, right there. She put it up.
That's
in
what
the
I'm
Discord.
assuming you're wearing.
Yeah. Do I have? I might have a leather one, John. I might have the leather one in the office. I don't know how. Somehow I got into collecting hats. I had a hat collection when I was a kid, little kid, like 5, because my grandma kept bringing me back hats from her travels. And then, I, of course, lost all of them, but they wouldn't have fit. They would have looked like this. And then because we started doing on iOS Today, we started wearing caps at the end of it. We called it the app cap. Our pick of the week was the app cap. And we'd wear funny hats. And so I ended up with a collection. This is the hat, though, I think, Jeff, that you were looking for.
Ooh, very steam. Okay, you should.
Thank you,
Can
John.
you keep this on the whole podcast?
Yeah, these are
Actually?
Buffalo nickels.
This would be
Lord.
really good.
Oh,
All
my
right.
Lord.
And it goes with the glasses, I think.
With the glasses, exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Hey, Meta, what am I looking at? I start playing.
Why does it play
start
that
playing
every
the police. I don't know why. Anyway.
So turn it on Paris and see what it says she is.
Okay.
Does it say anything about her?
Yeah, because what did it say when I looked at you, Jeff? It said just you were preparing to do.
I was making a presentation.
Yeah.
I was in fact looking down like this.
Hey, okay, now so what you do is you have to really look at it. Hey, Meta, what am I looking at?
This is such a
Well,
funny
that
tableau.
is so boring. Hey, Meta, what am I looking at?
You are looking at a person sitting in front of a camera with what appears to be a home office or living room behind them.
That's pretty good.
That is true, Meta. Thank you.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
And then knew you were in front of a camera, that it wasn't
You'd
the
have
real
to
you.
be a special kind of idiot, though, to be looking at something and not know what it was and ask your glasses, and your glasses tell you, and you go, oh, thanks.
Well, you got to
I
really
mean,
sound
I've
like an
heard
idiot.
that it's quite useful for like identifying flowers or
Yeah.
things like that.
I'll
but-
wear it around and figure it
Well,
out.
all right, wait a second. Can you turn the plant, turn again, and ask it if it knows what plant is in that screen?
All right,
not be
let's
able
see
to
if
do
we
that.
can.
It didn't know what kind
May
of
not.
dog Lily was.
Yeah. Hey, Meta, what kind of plant is that?
This is great radio.
The hat really does it for me.
Hey, Meta, what kind of plant was that? Yeah, it's just.
Wow.
was
R.I.P.
thinking. It's a pothos. It said it. It gave it the species.
It's not a pothos,
Well,
but
it's wrong. But
Monstera.
it gave a species in Latin and everything, and in Scarlett
Oh, that's
Johansson's
fun.
voice.
That's cool. Nice. Good job, Meta.
I finally
Well,
got
bad
her.
job, Meta. But
You know, Kevin Rose, when he was on the Twitter a couple of weeks ago, said he always thanks AI afterwards. He says, you never know. He's very polite. I know. I thought, you're kidding, right? And he said, no. He was serious.
I read an essay recently that said that that's exactly the wrong thing that we should be doing, because then we humanize it.
We
and
anthropomorphize it. Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
should
yeah.
not do it.
So this week in the information, the story Paris has been working on all week long came out. with an AI illustration of, it looks like Jonah Peretti eating very hot.
That's not AI, baby. A human artist paid a salary made that. And it's Jonah Peretti eating hot wings.
Wow. Well, I should have known the fingers are perfect. The subject, it's been painful. What Jonah Peretti says went wrong at BuzzFeed. He was the guy who, really was all in on journalism and created BuzzFeed. And he said, this is the subheading by Paris Martineau and Sahil Patel. BuzzFeed's CEO once proclaimed that consolidation was the best way for digital media companies to fight back against the big tech platforms. In an interview, though, he discusses how BuzzFeed's biggest deal blew up in its face. So we now know, because you couldn't tell us, but you were talking to Jonah right before the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the other week on a Wednesday morning, which is normally my work from home day, I went into our office in Flatiron in Manhattan, and me and my colleague, our media reporter, Sahil Patel, met with Jonah for an hour and a half on the record conversation. And this came kind of at the tail end of, we'd been doing reporting over the past couple of weeks into the story of kind of what went wrong with BuzzFeed. And I was originally drawn to this because BuzzFeed was such it was the beacon of this supposedly new era for media. It was going to be the next big thing. And it rushed to go public in 2021, even though maybe its finances weren't totally set yet. It tried to go public as a SPAC, which was like a special purpose acquisition company, ostensibly a faster way to go public, but because they wanted to tie it to
Trump media recently used to go public.
It was really hot during the pandemic to go public via SPAC. All the kids were doing it. And Jonah, the CEO, had long been kind of known as this media savant. He was the envy of a lot of mainstream media publishers for decades. BuzzFeed was thought of as this kind of total digital darling. And one of the most recent proclamations he made about the state of the industry that had people all up in arms and falling over themselves was he was like, consolidation is key. The only way that media companies are going to survive in the era of Facebook and Google and all these tech ad giants is by combining and merging and getting bigger. And he'd really tried to do that. He bought HuffPost. He and then kind of delayed their going public to buy this media company, Complex, which has Hot Ones, which is kind of why we have Jonah Peretti eating hot wings in the lead image there. But it ended up being basically a disaster. BuzzFeed has been public for the last 2.5 years. And for most of that time, they've been a penny stock. They only recently got up out of the pennies on Monday because they did a reverse stock split, which, just makes your stock higher than $1 so that you don't get delisted from the NASDAQ. So we kind of dug in to figure out, how did this all go so wrong?
Well, it's a really good story. It's really, really well done. And I think is so timely because we're trying to figure out what's happening with all the media. And we thought BuzzFeed was the answer. BuzzFeed was the future. And the irony to me, I said this in a comment under the story, is that I think that Jonah showed the way away from a destination strategy, and now he's going to a destination strategy. And Jonah showed, I think, how to get past the notion of mass media. And then he thought the only way to compete with the platforms was to try to be as big as them, which was quixotic or foolhardy. And he did the same thing that big old media did, like newspaper chains. He bought too much, got bad debt, and is vulnerable for it now.
Yeah, and I think it's particularly interesting because, BuzzFeed originally, it's what set it apart was how they made money was through kind of like native advertising, where instead of, having like banner ads or normal programmatic stuff, they would have a team like pitch brands directly and then kind of incorporate the ads in to their content. You'd have like a sponsored quiz or a sponsored article or whatnot. But over the last couple of years, they've had to move away from that entirely. And part of what led to the impetus for this story was BuzzFeed had acquired Complex Media because they were like, oh, they do all this fun extra stuff that's not programmatic. They have really kind of pricey branded videos. They have sponsored hot ones, chicken fingers or whatever. They're like, this would be great. But then they buy that, try to incorporate it. It goes terribly. And essentially they decided, well, within 18 months, this isn't going well. So we're going to sell most of it for a third of what we paid for. And now we're just going to go all in on programmatic ads, which is just like display ads and banner ads, which is kind of the lowest common denominator of advertising, which is quite sad, really. Because, I mean, it just means you have to chase scale at all costs, which isn't really viable in this day and age.
Which is what Ben Smith wrote about in his book Traffic. And I always thought that the BuzzFeed and Vice were everybody thought it was the vanguard of the future of media. They were the last gasp of old mass media. And, it's sad. Jonah really is an innovator. He is creative. He did come up with a new model. But the problem was there was, as they say in the Valley, no barrier to entry. It's the same thing that happened at About.com. About.com invented something new, and then content farms came in, ruined it. Google had to change its algorithm, and it hurt everybody, including About.com. BuzzFeed invented this new idea of we make our crap vertical, we can make your crap vertical, and we get our audience. We don't sell space or time or audience. We're going to be off there, right? And then what happened? Others came in and copied it, and Facebook had to diminish all of them, including BuzzFeed. And so it's a shame, really, because he was trying to do new things. Did you sense, Paris, that there was regret?
Yeah. I mean, I think he said he feels very frustrated with the way things turned out. He spoke at length. I think a bit of this is reflected in the story that he'd had this idea. Oh, I guess to switch gears a little bit. One thing we asked him about was there was this period of hype for digital media where it seemed like the sky was the limit, valuations were sky high. And we're like, and of course that bubble has popped and now it's quite the opposite. And we'd asked him, do you feel at all responsible for overhyping that? And he's like, well, I originally thought that the internet was going to take we're going to see something similar to what happened with the advent of cable, that you were going to, with the cable industry, you had cable distributors that suddenly were in need of content to sell ads against. So they went to cable channels and news publishing channels and struck deals with them to create quality content to run their ads against. And he was like, I assumed that was the future we were going to with the internet and these tech platforms, that these companies sure would be all right with user-generated content, but they would ultimately want high-quality publisher-generated content to have their ads against. And he's like, and that didn't end up being the world that we lived in. I think the quote he had said was like, if that had borne out, the hype would have been justified, but it didn't. And so it wasn't.
It's kind of sad, actually.
It is kind of sad.
It is sad, yeah.
And here I am sitting in a top hat. So let me take that off.
Well, no, you're the mortician.
Oh, as long as I'm not the Monopoly man, mortician. I'm okay. Yeah.
Well, if you get your brilliant Labs monocle, you would be the Monopoly.
Oh, I have it in the other room. I can wear it. Yeah, I mean, so is there going to be a second act for Jonah or a third act? He founded Huffington Post, so
let's not forget about
now he owns
pivot to video.
Huffington Post. His current idea for a third act is through generative AI. He thinks that BuzzFeed's future is as a tech company, essentially.
Yeah.
And here, I'll read this little graph because I like it. His plan to reverse the company's fortunes involve returning BuzzFeed to its irreverent, made-for-the-internet roots through a major bet on generative artificial intelligence, a longtime personal obsession of his. Among those AI efforts is a Tamagotchi-themed chatbot that allows users to raise their own Nepo baby called Nepogotchi, a custom emoji generator, and a tool that generates images of celebrities in the style of the character Shrek. Peretti says he's an avid AI user in his personal and professional lives. He used the tech recently to settle an argument with his kids about whether a football player's arms were too long or too short.
So weird. I do want to play this Nepogotchi game, though.
I mean, it's fun. It's like a little chat bot, but I guess it makes sense, I guess, from the perspective of they're still chasing scale, and it's a programmatic ads-based business. So they want to increase the amount of page views their content gets, because then they can sell more and more ads. And I mean, on that part, it does seem like it's working. He's said publicly, and he discussed this in our interview, that like the AI generated content, and I guess I'll put that in air quotes right now, does get dramatically more views than BuzzFeed's human-generated content. And I think that the reason why I put that in air quotes a little bit is it's somewhat different than what I originally thought of when I heard him describe our AI-generated content. Like this Nepogotchi chatbot, it looks like a Tamagotchi. It's got art design on it. They had a team go through and think of potential names and stuff for it. They built like a little chatbot. And so there was human intervention and ingenuity in it, but it's ultimately powered by kind of a chat GPT like thing. So it's a little bit different than a purely AI generated article, though they have those too.
I have to say, I just went to BuzzFeed.com, and this is the trashiest website on the internet. This is the National Enquirer.
That means, no, Leo, that story is true and was broken by the New York Times. RFK Jr. had a worm in his head.
But
that is exactly what he said.
I understand, but if you keep reading, that's
pretty, the world we live in now.
It's pretty trashy. Oh, so you think it's just reflecting our lives? I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying that story does.
Yeah. No, I wasn't just talking about that story.
It is interesting, though, because one thing that came up a bit in the reporting process is I was talking to Jonah and some of the other executives that we spoke to about like this idea that it does seem like BuzzFeed in a way is returning to its early days. Like that there was, BuzzFeed started as, I guess you could call it trashy or more just like internet ephemera content. Then it rose to prominence and got clout through the publication and expansion of BuzzFeed News. But BuzzFeed News was always, while it had the prestige, it never made money for BuzzFeed. Towards the end of its life, it was losing like $5 to $10 million a year. And they weren't really ever able to sell ads against it because advertisers don't want to sell ads against news.
So then, am I right to say the lesson he learned was to go back to the trashy because that's what makes money?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like part of the problem of being a public company, is you can't just mess around anymore. You suddenly have to create shareholder value.
It's not just public, though. I'd say, Paris, is that back in the days when he had nothing but investors, they were pressing him pretty heavily, too.
Yeah.
And I think he took too much investment because everybody thought it was going to grow too big because that was the time. When was BuzzFeed founded?
2006. And famously, in 2013, Jonah turned down a offer from Bob Iger of Disney to buy BuzzFeed for $500 million.
Oof.
There's this fantastic scene in Ben Smith's book Traffic where he describes, because Ben Smith at the time was editor-in-chief of BuzzFeed News, and he came with Jonah and I believe like Z Frank, their head of digital, and John Steinberg, their president, to this meeting, and they go back to their hotel room in LA afterwards, and the president of BuzzFeed is all like, oh my gosh, guys, we got to take this deal. And they all sit in the balcony and smoke a bunch of weed and talk about it. And Jonah's like, no, I think that we can do better. I think that they all kind of thought it was going to be their Facebook moment where they're like, we turned down an offer to be purchased and then only got so much bigger. Ugh. But, the tides changed dramatically. It's quite sad.
I don't feel bad for him. I kind of feel bad for us because this is what the internet's turning into. Is the moral here that there is no money in quality content?
I think it's hard to make money from quality content. I guess Huffington Post, or HuffPo as it's now called, is profitable and has been since they merged into BuzzFeed. Although, they've been able to make it profitable because they added a voices and opinion kind of section and something about like culture and lifestyle, which is easier to sell ads against because advertisers didn't want to be against the news, but they couldn't really do that with BuzzFeed News.
Leo, I think that with the web is getting junked up and junked up and junked up. And it's going to be junked up a lot faster and worse with generative AI. And so I think what ends up happening is there's probably a next generation of companies that become quality and people go to them for quality. And there's new business opportunities to be had there because it's going to be awful. And dare I say it, I'm going back to Gutenberg, it's what happened with print. That at some point there was a demand for the institutions of editing and publishing to assure quality. And those institutions are not adequate to what we have today. And I think that there are business opportunities around quality, but it's going to take time, and it's probably going to take the ruination of the web as we know it.
I guess you could say this is what happened to television. I vividly remember how, Newton Minnow's Vast Wasteland with Gilligan's Island, My Mother the Car, crap sitcoms. And then somehow we recovered, and there's quality TV. There's still crappy TV, but there's quality TV too. I don't know what the status is.
The crappy is crappier, and the quality was more quality, I think.
You don't lose money pandering to the tastes of
you can.
The mass audience, though, right? That's really the lesson. You want to make money. You want to scale. You've got to pander. Yes?
Can we just have a brief aside for My Mother the Car, a TV show I just Googled and learned is exactly as it sounds. The
I was going to suggest
this.
I was going to suggest you do this, Leo.
Reincarnated
I
as
didn't
the
realize
family
you
car.
would not have recognized the
oh,
reference.
yeah.
Yeah,
Leo,
sorry.
it's time.
It aired in 1965, Leo.
Time to play a little My Mother the Car for Paris.
All right, here we go.
It's Dad and Dad Reminisce.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah. Get a load of the dress, huh? The hairdo.
Actually, let me pick. I wonder if I could find something. This is the premiere episode. Well, I guess maybe we should.
Because
do this.
it's a setup because that's when he buys the.
Yeah,
mother.
it's Jerry Van Dyke, right?
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke's brother.
Dick Van Dyke's lesser talented brother. He's kind of like the Jim.
He's looking
Belushi
for
of the
cars
60s.
to buy, and then he comes across
There's the
a
limit to how much of
fixer-upper.
this we can play, guys.
Benito, I don't
Okay.
know. This is 1965.
It's still network television.
He's looking at a fixer-upper. Don't play the
Leo.
audio. How about that? No, play the audio because
At
it's
some
going to
point-
talk to him.
Well, you fast forward to some point where we
He's
get past the
talking to
setup.
his car.
Listen, I believe that this is quite
Oh,
lovely.
yeah, go back with the guy with the mustache. You got to have the guy with the mustache.
Avery
There,
Shriver, right?
Yeah. Avery Shriver.
It's a very unusual car, Captain.
Yeah, well, as we were saying before the car so rudely interrupted us.
By the way,
I'm sorry, Captain.
I always am amazed when I see old TV, how that looks, how obviously this is like a set on a soundstage. They make
yeah.
no attempt at realism at all.
Of course not.
Try Lassie.
Yeah.
Lassie was on a soundstage, and you think it's in the great outdoors, and it's this tiny little room covered with dirt.
It's kind of amazing.
Wow.
Is the car
You know
going
who
to talk?
Lassie was?
She
I
knows
know
who
Lassie.
She knows who Lassie was.
I know
Anyway,
all
the
dogs.
car is his mother reincarnated.
Reincarnated?
Yes. That's the premise.
That's great.
But what I'm
Venus Jones?
The pitch for that show had to come from somebody doing a lot of coke, and they were like,
They didn't do coke in the 60s.
reincarnated?
They were doing the wacky weed. All right.
Who was the car?
All right,
Who
sorry
played,
for getting
who
us
played
off
the car?
track.
Go, you look
To-
that up.
Southern?
I was talking like on a serious subject about how media ends up serving the lowest common denominator, and that's how you succeed in media. And I guess that's why
We just showed it.
that's why we struggle, right? That's why Twit struggles is we don't want to pander. I don't do listicles. I don't do you won't believe what happened next.
I will say something that warmed my heart a little bit this week was I just put this link in the Discord. It's a piece from Neiman Lab. The headline is, "This year's Pulitzer Prizes were a coming out party for online media."
Oh, hold on. Hold the thought. We got to take a break. Hold the thought. Pulitzer Prizes coming up. See, this is class, this network. This network is all about brains and substance and talent, and you won't believe what happens next. Stay here. It will blow your mind. And yes, Kim Kardashian is part of it, okay? I have to say, I did watch the Met Gala red carpet
Ugh.
a couple of
I did not.
days ago.
No, I didn't either.
That is, I could see that pop culture has completely passed me by at this point.
Well, that's not pop culture. Well, it's a combination of pop culture and ridiculous show-off rich culture.
Well, isn't that what happens?
Well, I'd argue that is also pop culture.
You're
Yes.
right.
That's what
You're right.
happens.
I'd say that is the definition of pop culture,
Yeah.
See,
actually.
I worked at Condé Nast when it wasn't pop culture. That was the point.
Oh, yeah.
Hot.
The rich people realize that
K-U-T.
you can't be haute couture. You have to be pop culture because that's where the money is. That's where the people are, right? You got to have Kendall Jenner on the runway or, it doesn't matter. Nobody wants to see, Doris Duke in a floral gown. There's no market for that, And I think Anna Wintour is smart enough to know that. And that's why she's got Zendaya instead. All right. Our show brought to you today by Melissa. It's the data quality experts. Since 1985, they are the kings of making sure that your contact data, your address data, your supplier and customer data is accurate and up to date. You know that Melissa's global address verification and validation service verifies addresses for, I didn't even know there were this many, 240 plus countries and territories. Pretty much everyone. By doing this, Melissa helps your business. It improves deliverability, reduces costly errors. You can boost your address data accuracy, increase your delivery speed, and, of course, it all comes down to boosting your bottom line. That's another reason Melissa offers free trials and sample codes at flexible pricing. Melissa's achieved the highest level of security status available. You'll be glad to know they treat your data like it's gold. That's how they got FedRAMP authorization. Now, of course, that's for government agencies, but all Melissa users automatically gain that superior level of security. You'll be glad to know Melissa's solutions and services are also GDPR and CCPA compliant. They make SOC 2 and HIPAA high trust standards for information security management. Your data is safe with Melissa. And thanks to Melissa, your data is accurate, up to date, clean. You can even try Melissa for free right now on Android or iOS. Just download the free Melissa Lookups app. No sign up required. It's a little limited, but you could play with it. You could validate addresses and personal identities in the U.S. and Canada. You could check global phone numbers. You could check global IP address information and more, and that's free. Just search for the Lookups app on Google Play or the iOS App Store. And if you're interested in trying out Melissa, you'll be happy to hear that you can get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free. If your address data is not completely up to date, go to melissa.com/twit. They'll clean it up for you. melissa.com/twit. They've got on-prem, they've got SaaS, they've got APIs. You could do it any way that works for you. melissa.com/twit. Thank you, Melissa, for supporting This Week in Google. All right. I've kept you on tenterhooks long enough. Tell us who won the Pulitzer. So it was an online winner?
Yeah, it seems like there's never been more Pulitzer Prizes won by online native outlets. There were 12 online native outlets honored in the Pulitzers this year versus 8 newspapers.
See, they're dying.
I mean, the newspapers are dying. It's, I think, just very interesting. It shows, at the very least, that online media is rising to prominence.
And by the way,
one of them that
Pulitzer announced a podcast 2 weeks ago, so they're right. Pulitzer's on it. That's great.
They're on it.
They're on it.
So one of the winners
online outlets include ProPublica, which got 2 finalists. These are for all the finalists.
Yay.
Invisible Institute, Alabama Reflector, City Bureau, the Honolulu Civil Beat, KFF Health News, Lookout Santa Cruz, Mississippi Today, STAT, which is great, the Marshall Project, great, Texas Tribune, USG Audio. Which I don't know. It was heartening to me to see the rise of local news in some ways.
It is, and if you look at Lookout Santa Cruz, that's run by Ken Doctor. Ken is an analyst of the newspaper industry for years standing. He writes something called Newsonomics, and he decided to say, "Okay, smartass, do it yourself." He went into Santa Cruz. His avowed mission is to kill the Alden Global Media News Group paper in Santa Cruz, and he just announced
Sentinel,
this week
the Santa Cruz Sentinel.
He's going to kill it. He's going to kill it.
It's going to go. Is it going to die? Because that's the worst newspaper
It's
ever.
Alden News, and he's going to go into a town he just announced in Oregon now.
Wow.
And he raises money to do this. And he has an association of about a half dozen sites that are doing the same thing. My argument of late has been that the health of newspapers is no longer the barometer of the health of news in America. At the local level, it's certainly true. They're owned by hedge funds, most of them. And at the national level, I wrote a post this week saying that I've given up on the New York Times. I've had it. So it's these new things that are going to be the future of journalism.
So this is really, so I went to high school in Santa Cruz, so I know this Santa Cruz local paper very well. This is a tiny little digital-only outlet, 6 reporters, 1 photographer, 1 assignment editor, and a copy editor. And this is what they won the Pulitzer for, is this timeline of the atmospheric rivers that struck Santa Cruz a couple of years ago now, December 2022 through January 2023. Great images, an actual timeline with links. This is something that a print paper can't do. I think this is incredible.
Oh,
this is what we need. I mean,
Fantastic.
we're losing local newspapers. Every small town paper is struggling.
And the ones that are alive are not alive. They're crap.
Yeah.
In California, so I wrote my paper about the California Journalism Preservation Act. And in it, I saw that 18 of the top 25 California papers by circulation are owned by hedge funds now.
Oh, man.
And they're in Northern California, Media News Group in Northern California, since it's owned up there, has consolidated 12 titles into 2. So they're all less local.
People might say, oh, well, that's not important. It's national reporting, national news that matters. It's not. The city council meetings, the school board meetings, the pressing local issues. We have a local paper in Petaluma, the Argus Courier, which I'm sure is owned by a private equity firm. But we get it. We subscribe every week because it's where you're going to find out what's going on locally, and you're not going to see that anywhere else.
Is that your favorite local paper?
It's the only local paper we have, the Argus Courier.
Jeff, do you have a favorite local news org outside of NJ.com? Or is it NJ.com?
Well, NJ.com is one of them.
And then there's Patch, right? There's the Petaluma Patch.
Yeah, this Patch. There's a lot. I mean, I think City Bureau, which got a Pulitzer, is brilliant because they teach citizens to cover their own communities and compensate them for that. Outlier Media in Detroit is great. Outlook Santa Cruz is great. I look at the members here in New Jersey of the Center for Cooperative Media, and I helped start the New Jersey News Commons. Now has 400 members here in New Jersey. INN has 400 members. Lion of Local News has 400 members. These are all new startups. In Canada, there's a company called Village Media run by a guy named Jeff Elgie, who is profitable in 29 markets in Canada. And he's going to come into the U.S., I hope. It's possible to be profitable. The newspapers did exactly what Jonah did. They consolidated. They took on debt. They became vulnerable to the hedge funds. They're being cut to the marrow. All they buy anymore is lobbying to get crap legislation. There's a new bill that just went through a committee in the California Senate that's worse than the last one I wrote about. They want to do a tax.
No.
They want to do a tax on, get this, it's a tax on collecting data. Data are information. Information is knowledge. They want to tax that as if it is a presumed barter. I give you my data and you give me free content, so I'm going to tax that. But I'm only going to tax a certain number of companies that do that. Guess which ones? And it's awful legislation because it comes from the lobbyists for the hedge funds. Sorry, got me started.
So this is our local paper, the I think this is a pretty good paper, the Argus Courier. If you didn't, and we subscribe, I'm not logged in right now, but we do subscribe to this, and the Santa Rosa paper, which is the big city up north. And these are stories that I think are pretty important. The library's slated for a makeover. The city is shutting a bar because bouncers beat up somebody. The Petaluma City Schools art show. This is actually
it's
pretty
owned by Sonoma Media Investments.
Yeah, it used to be a New York Times company, but I think they sold it. And actually, they've done a good job of really covering. Now, we're a town of 60,000. I guess that's not tiny, right?
Right.
So maybe
it's medium.
Maybe it needs to have a town of a certain size. But I'm really grateful that we have this. I really, for a while, thought it was at the end of the line for small town newspapers.
I'll shout out my favorite local outlet. I mean, there's so many great ones in New York City, but the one I've really been appreciative of lately is Hellgate. The website is Hellgate NYC, and it's named after the Hellgate Bridge.
That is a micro target.
I mean, it's a recent publication. It's all of New York City related kind of news culture. It's got a staff of 7. It's worker owned and started by like kind of longtime city journalists, subscriber funded. They also take donations, and they just do some of the most like fun and interesting work. They also do like really quite good journalism.
So maybe there is some hope, at least.
There is. There is.
In a local level.
I suppose while we're on the subject of the Pulitzers, I'll crib again from my picks this week. Something that I found really interesting is this. I have the link in line 157. This was the first year in over a decade that tech journalism was awarded a Pulitzer Prize. And in this case, it was to the staff of Reuters for what the Pulitzers describe as an eye-opening series of accountability stories focused on Elon Musk's automobile and aerospace businesses. Stories that displayed remarkable breadth and depth and provoked official probes of his company's practices in Europe and the U.S.
And happened to deliver great links, great downloads. That's Elon is a gift to journalism, to tech journalism, right? Because you can't stop reading it. I don't know if every story will get that kind of attention. And I know our friend Nerit Barry Weiss, what's her name? Not Barry Weiss. Nerit.
I was going to say our friend Barry Weiss?
No. Well, I can't remember her last name, but she wrote a book about, we've had her on the show, about technology journalism and kind of the death of technology journalism. And
I just thought it was interesting that it had
Nerit Weiss Blatt,
who we've had on the show.
Yeah, I apologize for putting it. You can see why I said Nerit Barry Weiss, though. I mean, you could see where that came from. I'm just saying.
It's true. There is a Weiss and a B in there.
It's close. Anyway, she wrote Techlash about the death of technology reporting. This is okay. So we cheered you up. So there's good. There's some local stuff happening. Pulitzer's.
There's the information, for God's sake.
The information.
True.
And then there's AdVon. Get ready. The AI-powered content monster infecting the media industry. This is from Futurism. Came out today. They say, remember that AI company behind Sports Illustrated's fake writers? We did some digging, and it's got some tendrils into some other surprisingly prominent publications.
I read most of it. Benito read all of it. Do you have Benito summarize
Benito Gonzalez, our producer.
Wait, would you summarize? That's a long article.
And now I'm getting
a very long article.
Ads for leather hats in my version of the story.
Are you really? That's awesome.
Because I looked up leather hats to show it to you.
It really works.
Leather hats.
It really works. Okay. So Gannett, it started with Gannett when some product reviews getting published on the website of USA Today with bylines that didn't seem to correspond to real people. Plus, the articles were stilted and formulaic. So the writers' union there accused them of being shoddy AI. Gannett blamed the articles on AdVon, ADVON. AdVon did those Sports Illustrated articles. And with, by the way, kind of very creatively, with not only fictional names, but fictional biographies and pictures of the AI.
So it was also fictional diversity, which is really offensive.
Yeah, it really
we don't have any black people, but we'll make them up.
This is from the Futurism article.
Yes.
What we found should alarm anyone who cares about a trustworthy and ethical media industry, right? Basically, AdVon engages what Google calls site reputation abuse. It strikes deals with publishers in which it provides huge numbers of extremely low-quality product reviews, often for surprisingly prominent publications intended to pull in traffic from people Googling things like best ab roller or leather hats, Jeff.
Yep.
The idea seems to be that these visitors will be fooled into thinking the recommendations were made by the publication's actual journalists and click one of the article's affiliate links, kicking back a little money if they make a purchase.
This is Upworthy all over again. That's what we talked about.
Upworthy had a decent motive. I talked to somebody who was in charge of content, I won't say which one, at one of the yucky companies. He's since left. And he said, when I started talking about AI, he said, you don't understand, Jeff. we're in a war over reviews. Well, a review of all things should be a human being making a judgment. But what happens is, because of this affiliate revenue, this AdVon story starts with somebody who was hired for pennies to write this crap. And then suddenly his job changed. He was told, no, now you're going to edit these stories. The stories were obviously made by AI, and you should write down all your corrections. So then they used the corrections to train the AI, and then he was out of a business, out of a job. And it's been used by these are the guys who wrote the Sports Illustrated stories. They wrote the Cadet stories. I think they were. It's all. You know what's the better analogy, Leo? Is taboola.
Yeah. Or
it's nuclear taboola.
Yeah. Which sounds really awful. This is good reporting, by the way, from Futurism.
Yes.
They got a training video from an insider at AdVon, a whistleblower in effect. An AdVon manager shares her screen showing a content management system hosted on the company's website, advoncommerce.com. In the video, the manager uses the CMS to open and edit a list of product recommendations titled Best Yoga Mats, coincidentally or not, bylined by one of the fake Sports Illustrated writers, Damon Ward. The article's source, according to the field in the CMS, is AI. There's Damon Ward. Here's the picture of Damon Ward. By the way, that picture was offered for sale on a site that generates AI-generated headshots, where he is described as, quote, joyful black young adult male with short black hair and brown eyes. Wow. They're so cheap they reuse the same fake writers. You'd think they would generate a new fake writer anyway. This was for Yoga Journal. A spokesperson for Yoga Journal, owner Outside Incorporated, the portfolio of which also includes the acclaimed magazine Outside, confirmed to us, Futurism, that AdVon had previously published content for several of its titles, including Yoga Journal, Backpacker, and Clean Eating. But it ended up terminating the relationship in 2023 due to the poor quality of AdVon's work. It wasn't the ethical issue at all. It was the quality. That's all.
That was also a running theme in this article, that a lot of these companies dumped AdVon because the work was all terrible.
It wasn't good, but if it were good, which it will be, by the way, any minute now, AI is just getting better and better at this stuff. It sounds like they wouldn't have dumped it. Oh, well, if it was good quality, we'll use it.
The article goes further, and it's like there's a whole cover-up thing going on also with all the AI articles. Like all the old AI, the fake AI authors' names got changed to the CEO's wife and mother's name.
Whoa!
Talk about throwing your family to the wolves. McClatchy said, "Oh no, we ended our relationship with AdVon, and they deleted hundreds of pieces from all 20 of its newspapers, including the Sacramento Bee and the Miami Herald." Now, this is really upsetting to me. An earlier archive version of the AdVon site bragged that its publishing clients included PC Magazine, Mashable, Ask Men, those are all Ziff Davis, Hearst's Good Housekeeping. Remember the Good Housekeeping seal of approval? Remember that?
Jeez.
IAC's Dot Meredith Publications. Jeff, I'm sorry. People, Parents, Food and Wine, In Style, Real Simple, Travel Plus Leisure, Better Homes and Gardens, and Southern Living.
Also,
this is where we're headed, kids.
AdVon also has a relationship with the parent company Futurism. It's all disclosed in the article, though.
In fact, we learned while reporting, this is the Futurism writers.
That's funny.
AdVon even has business ties to Futurism's parent company, Recurrent Ventures. Although it's never had any involvement with Futurism itself.
They tried to hang that tried to hang that over the heads of the reporters.
Anyway, it goes on and on and on.
This is who's ruining the web.
Good job by Maggie
and by
Harrison
the way,
Dupre in Futurism. She's a human, as far as we can tell, and not the wife of the CEO. Yeah.
Well, if that was AI generated, then I think I have hope.
Actually, that'd be a good sign. Blowing the lid off of AI.
By the way, as we complain about Google search getting worse, it's not fully Google's fault or whoever got blamed on in last week's show. It's because the web is just getting
the crap they're
indexing.
indexing.
More crap.
Yeah, it just reflects the crap.
Well, I will also say, though, have you guys noticed there have been a number of, I feel like, reports in the last week or two about smaller publishers or even medium to large size publishers seeing a dramatic decrease in SEO and search traffic after Google's rolled out its latest round of updates, I think, to ranking. And I believe this has something to do with what they were talking about in the Futurism article. What is it? Reputation. I just read this. I forgot what it was called. But essentially like manipulating your reputation scores on Google. I just put a couple of links to this effect in the rundown at line 56. House Fresh, I guess a like prominent small review site, saw its traffic go down 91%.
Oh, we did that story.
As it's been,
yeah. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago when that came out. They were really upset, and that was just the tip of the iceberg that Futurism has done.
And it's just the tip of the iceberg, because if you go down to line 58, a reporter and SEO person had pulled together a list of declines in SEO visibility for major publishers between September and April, and it's wild.
Okay, so I saw this tweet, and she says, gee, notice anything totally obvious, or is it just me? And for the life of me, I didn't. So please explain what is totally obvious, because she never does. Is it that these are big-name sites?
It's just that sites from what I thought it was, from the large names to small, are all experiencing dramatic decreases in
Oprah
SEO.
Daily down 68.8%. Collider 87% drop. Sacramento
New York Magazine
Bee
75%. Yeah.
This is also, I think, what Facebook's doing. They're just saying the news industry is being we don't depend upon the news industry. Let's see what happens to our usage if we cut it down. Well,
yeah, but this is like completely across the board. What is going on this is Google SEO visibility, the greatest percentage. What does it even mean, Google SEO visibility?
Yeah, that is specifically like the top 10 search results or whatever that come up when you search for something. It's not like the top stories visitors. Or Google News.
It's not the number of visitors. So
no. It's they can only do this by testing against something. And so it's a questionable ranking because they're guessing what people are searching for.
Computer World down 75%. Turner Classic Movies down 90%. Bob Vila down 85%. But I guess I just wonder what this means. GQ down 70%. What does it mean? I don't understand, really.
I don't understand what the measure is fully either.
Sure entirely what the cause is here. And I don't think anyone outside of Google probably knows that. But I do think that the thing about this that interested me was that small or medium or changes from within a company as gargantuan as Google, that is making changes all the time, can have dramatic and pronounced effects on an entire ecosystem of sites and companies, and there's really just nothing you can do about it. It's just kind of like, well, we're not really sure why this has gone down, but we've got to somehow figure it out.
I have another theory, which is that for a long time, I'm kind of notorious for being down on SEO. In fact, probably stupidly spoke at an SEO conference in which I said, you guys are a terrible business. Stop being such scammers. I wonder if this is somewhat of a reflection on of just kind of the failure of the SEO industry. They're selling snake oil. And look,
right, and we complain about Google search being bad. Well, everybody's trying to manipulate Google search, so Google search is getting back at that manipulation.
Yeah, they're just turning off whatever little tricks these guys had figured out. I don't know if it's really an organic drop in hits, or it's just that they're not getting the SEO they thought they were getting by paying these snake oil salesmen. Google's chasing SEO loopholes, right?
Well, it goes back to it's off Paris' story again. The preamble to all of that was once again about .com. And the New York Times bought it out.com because they had the wizard of SEO. They wanted to learn SEO. They then set him up to do his own SEO consultancy. I went to the first SEO conference, and it was a small floor in a hotel. It filled all of Javits Center with all these BS companies, right? And it was because of About.com that we recognize what questions are being asked, and so we'll write the answers so that when the next time they ask the question, we'll get the click instead of Wikipedia. Not a bad strategy, not a bad thing. They wrote good stuff. But then the content farms came in. They hired people like the earlier versions of AdVon to write horrible stuff for pennies to try to get their piece of it. That is what led to Panda, the first major update of the search algorithm at Google to downgrade all the content farm stuff, and with it, About.com. So About.com fell and fell and fell and fell till the New York Times waited too long to sell it, and it is now Dotdash.
It's kind of interesting to read this thread, by the way, because it was created by an SEO person, right? From data generated by an SEO agency. So their take on it is, oh, look what Google's doing to our clients, right? My take on it is that SEO is snake oil, and the mistake these clients made was chasing Google traction by doing tricks, SEO tricks, generating sites specifically for search terms, things like that, and that Google caught on and is punishing them for that. So I guess how you interpret this tweet really depends a lot on your point of view. My point of view is the web is being filled with crap, and Google's doing its best to make its search results better.
I agree with you in principle, Leo, but I'll also play devil's advocate here for a minute, because I feel like some of these people probably would say, no, we're not doing it to game the system. We're doing this because it's the only way for us to participate in this system.
Right.
For a while, the only way to get your articles or web page visited at all, or to come up in search results if someone's looking for your content, is to play the long, crappy SEO game. And that means,
could be
adding all the different things in there.
That's what I like, is saying, what if you need to do the tricks because everyone else is using them?
Well, so I've been at events with news publishers, and Matt Cutts in his day, or Danny Sullivan now, and they all say, tell us the secret. We have this valuable news. We should rise up. And both of them would roll their eyes and say, no, we're going to constantly try to get around those games. Just have good content. Just serve people well. And we'll try to figure that out.
But that's what
signals change.
That's what HouseFresh says it is doing. They do real reviews. They're not chasing links. They don't generate fake reviews. And they have lost 91% of their Google traffic since the March core update. And so that's the real question is, what's going on here? Is it that sites were generating crap content and Google noticed and deranked them? Or, and maybe it was just that, HouseFresh got caught in that, even though they were generating
like About.com and like BuzzFeed to a great extent.
Yeah.
Facebook. Same thing happened to BuzzFeed.
The bottom line,
they made
for me
viral
as a user,
I don't fund viral.
I don't really care, but the bottom line for me as a user is A, Google's search results are worse than ever, and B, the web itself is worse than ever, and I don't know who the culprit is, but it's pretty sad.
And it's going to get worse with AI.
And that's the prognosis. The patient is dead, and it looks like he's getting worse. So I think we got a problem.
The patient is dead, and the doctor says he's going to get deader.
He's going to be even deader. Okay. So
meanwhile, my TV is on to the side, which I do. I keep Twitter going. I keep the TV going.
Jeff, how have we been doing this for so long? And I had no idea you were watching TV.
It's just on. It's on all day. It's on all day. Now we have.
That's what happens when you get past 60, Paris. As you get older, you just have a need for constant noise in the background, I think.
Yeah. And this is how I go to sleep, too. Yeah. You have a TV on. Now we have RFK Jr. and his worm is on MSNBC.
Okay, do you guys believe the worm is real? I know this is not what this podcast is supposed to be about, but I think I think there's no way he really had a worm in his head.
He's crazy, but you know what, Paris? I looked it up, and if you go to my Twitter feed, I put up a picture.
It's an old story.
I put up the picture. Yeah, it was part of his divorce. He was trying to say that he had no memory. So if you go to my Twitter feed,
the worms ate my memory. Christ.
Go down my Twitter feed to the Guardian story. You will see a picture of honest to God, the kind of worm. It's a pork.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to look for a photo of
there's a picture.
No, keep going. That's a joke. That's a joke. Keep going down.
It's trichinosis.
There.
It's trichinosis.
That is a pork larva.
Oh.
That ate his brain.
It's trichinosis. right? We were always told,
I don't know. I don't know.
I hate it.
Cook your pork because
now
of
we have found
trichinosis.
Paris's.
I don't need to see the worm's face, guys. I don't need to think about the fact that that's
You know, it's interesting.
there.
It looks just like the face of the new Boston Dynamics robot. All right.
Do you remember? Did you see the series? Unfortunately, it got canceled. Brain Dead.
No.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was about aliens invading the brains of politicians in Washington. It should never have been canceled because it was so true.
Huh. That's also the plot of Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh,
don't tell me. Oh, that's right. It's in your head, and the whole
not
thing.
A spoiler, Leo.
It's not a
That
spoiler.
is like minute
it's you're
5.
going around trying to get the thing out of your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it? In fact, are you RFK Jr. in the game?
Yeah.
Asking
You
for a
are.
friend. Okay.
That's a reveal halfway through.
Oh,
so,
boy.
I'm sorry.
I guess I should take a break here. I don't know. Yeah, let's take a break. We get time-wise, we should take a break. We got lots more to talk about. This is a fascinating conversation with Paris Martineau of The Information, Jeff Jarvis, who teaches journalism. Folks,
who can imagine?
He teaches
what
journalism.
What fool can he be?
And so that's why we sometimes get
and
caught
Paris
up in this
Martineau
stuff.
does journalism.
She is the journalist. And I am just sitting on the sidelines with my popcorn watching it all. This Week in Google is brought to you by Yahoo Finance. You know, I have to say, there is a tool that I use when I need to look at, the Apple stock results just came out last week. In fact, quite a few stock results came out last week. We were very interested to see what was going on. And sometimes seeing that graph is the best way to see what's going on. And whenever I'm doing that, you may not notice, but I go to Yahoo Finance. That is, and maybe I don't know, it's what I've always used. But I love Yahoo Finance because it gives you the information you need. Whether you're an investor or a journalist, if you just want to know what's going on, these graphs, and you've, I'm sure, seen me show these graphs before. They're so useful. This is the 1-day graph. Here's a 1 year. Look at this. The stock price jump just a couple of days ago, May 2nd, after Apple announced, I don't know what they announced. They didn't announce the iPad still. Anyway, when we're covering these companies, we're not trying to give you stock tips, but the information-rich presentation of Yahoo Finance really is great. So when it comes to your financial future, you probably think, oh, I've done everything, right? I've saved, I've researched, I've invested all I can. Good on you. But now you need to take those investments to the next level by using what every financial grade has used for the last 25 years, Yahoo Finance. I include myself. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just looking for extra guidance, Yahoo Finance provides all the tools and data you need in one place. Right there, we're looking at the front page, today's front page, which, by the way, if you're an investor, is pretty good news. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for extra guidance, it's all there. A holistic view of the financial news cycle, breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, and more. Sure, you could do what I have done, which is, by the way, link my brokerage accounts to Yahoo Finance. So when I go there, I get a unified view of my net worth, my wealth, if you will, although it doesn't look like it, including your 401k and other investments. A comprehensive perspective distinguishes great investors, and Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to examine your wealth in its entirety. And when the stock market goes up and down, it's really nice to get some reassurance from Yahoo Finance. With a community of over 90 million users every month, the real strength of Yahoo Finance is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. It is still the #1 financial destination. I never stopped using it. yahoofinance.com. We thank them so much for supporting This Week in Google. yahoofinance.com. Yahoo. Do these still do that?
I was about to do
Yahoo.
that, Leo.
I don't know if they still do it. Yahoo!
They should bring it back.
They should. It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's amazing, though. Yahoo has gone through all kinds of various owners and morphs. Yahoo Finance was early on the best financial service on the web.
Yep.
And it has managed to maintain that leadership through all that buffeting. It is pretty amazing. If you do things right.
It's because I think it's not alone. It's the other, like TV.com. They still are like the number one visited pages. These the verticals, I guess they call them, that Yahoo did. Not the overall Yahoo. It's certainly Yahoo search.
Right.
But the verticals really have held their value. I guess, yeah. I wonder if it's a completely different division or what. I don't know how it works.
I don't know if it got sold.
Yeah, maybe not.
Ask your glasses. Ask your glasses. Who owns Yahoo Finance?
I'd have to put them on to do that. All right. We're going to give the little
part of Yahoo.
This is probably Meta's Llama AI, I would guess, right? Their open source AI. Hey, Meta, who owns Yahoo Finance? You can listen in.
Yahoo Finance is owned by Yahoo Inc.
Wow. Thanks, Meta.
Softball for you there, Meta.
Hey, Meta, who owns Yahoo Inc.? Yeah, it's thinking.
It's had enough. You asked it
It's
one
Apollo.
hard question
No,
already.
it is Apollo. So I guess it's owned by Apollo when Verizon has a 10% stake.
Private equity.
Yeah, private equity, yeah. But they have the good sense not to mess with it. All right. We did the heat death of the internet, or no? Did we not do that? This was such a good piece.
No.
This is another internet doomsday story. Are we done with those?
Good.
Ooh, fun.
This one's from Australia, Takahi. Actually, New Zealand. I said Australia, and I apologize. Takahi is takahi.org.nz. And they write, you want to order from a local restaurant, but you need to download a third-party delivery app, even though you plan to pick it up yourself. The prices and menu on the app are different to what you saw in the window. When you download a second app, the prices are different again. You ring the restaurant directly. It says the number's no longer in service. You go to the restaurant and order in person. You mention their website has the wrong number. The woman behind the counter says, yeah, we have to contact the company that designed the site for changes. It's going to cost us. Most people order through the app anyway, so screw it. You watch the trailer for an upcoming movie on YouTube, but first you have to sit through an ad. Then you sit through a preview for the trailer itself. Then you watch the trailer, which is literally another ad. When it ends, it queues up a new trailer with a new ad at the start of it. The first page of Google results are links to pages that have scraped other pages for information from other pages that have been scraped for information. All the sources seem to link back to one another. There's no origin. The photos on the page look weird. The hands are disfigured. There's no image credit. And on and on and on. This is Gregory Bennett. He is a writer and filmmaker from Wellington, New Zealand. And, I think we've all seen this. You buy a microwave and you get ads for microwaves. You buy a mattress, you get ads for mattresses, right? He says the internet...
A billionaire got mad, bought your favorite social media site and ran it into the ground. A different billionaire got mad, bought the magazine site you liked and to read on your lunch break and shut it down completely. A third billionaire did what they do best, bought the app to use for networking and sold it for parts. Getting a little too close to home there, man.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he's not saying anything we don't all experience and know. And you know why I like these stories? Because I feel like I'm an old man shouting at the clouds. And I just like to know there's other old men shouting at the clouds as well. I'm not alone.
I think you're going to have to put the hat back on if you want to do the full shout. But yeah.
Why, you people have ruined the internet. My monocle's in the drawer. I think I need the monocle better. It would be better, I think.
I think it would be significantly better with the monocle.
And maybe one of the mustaches. I have a whole package of mustaches called Mustache Party. So I could just
That would indeed be a party.
It would be a party. So what the hell? Speaking of Elon, I invoked his name. What the hell's going on at Tesla?
Would this be the end of Elon?
This is from Ars Technica, one of many articles about this, Jonathan Gitlin. What's happening at Tesla? Can things be turned around, or is this just the beginning of the end? Now, it started with laying off the entire supercharger team, and now we kind of think we know what happened from various insiders. The woman who ran the team kind of fought back, I guess, against Elon. And Elon's response was not just to fire her, but fire the entire team. And apparently that's kind of how Elon works these days. In fact, he even warned. He said, if you don't go along, you and your entire team will be fired.
What was it he demanded at Twitter? The kind of coding he wanted?
Oh, yeah. Extreme hardcore, something like that.
Hardcore. That
Yeah.
was it, hardcore, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The executive responsible for overseeing the supercharger network, which one you might argue was really one of the main drivers to Tesla's success, and all of her 500-odd staff were fired. The man in charge of developing...
500?
500.
Yep.
This is like Vlad the Impaler. This is like Scorched Earth. Oh, I can see a video of them searching my drawers. So the back drawer on the right, John. Back top drawer on the right.
What else interesting are you finding,
And the
folks?
monocle is in the drawer on the left. Burke, you're
If
looking.
you find
there it
any
is.
other
You see
funny
it?
things,
Yeah, there
guys,
it is.
Oh, yeah, bring it
please
out,
bring
bring it
them.
out.
Okay, he's got. There were two people going through my drawers, and not that I didn't enjoy it, but maybe not.
You're not the former president.
There we go.
I'm going to get a hat, too.
Gone
I'll
too
bring
is
it
the
back.
man in charge of developing new vehicles. Nothing has calmed down since. This is again Jonathan Gitlin writing in Ars Technica. Wait a minute. I scrolled up and I lost where I am. I spoke with industry experts to see if they're any less confused than I am about the whole situation. Tyson Gemini, VP of Data and Analytics, JD Power. The recent strategic and organizational changes at Tesla are at once shocking but unsurprising. One could trace a straight line from earlier pivots to what's going on now. However, it remains difficult to predict where Tesla will disrupt itself. Questioning every cost and breaking things to see what happens is a core Tesla attribute instilled by Mr. Musk. To wit, Tesla is the automaker without a PR team. The philosophy is cut until something breaks, just like at Twitter, and then add back investment where the cracks emerge. He also interviews our friend Sam Abul Samad. He'll be on Ask the Tech Guys on Sunday, and I will ask Sam directly. It's bizarre. And if I were a Tesla owner or about to buy a Tesla, I'd be a little nervous.
I'm nervous on behalf of all electric car owners.
You are now a Nathan's hot dog.
Oh, I want that.
You got to go to the hot dog
That is
contest.
jolly good.
Jeez. Well, did you see the huge hot dog art that's in Times Square right now, Paris?
Oh, I did not.
What is the hot dog art?
Is it a big hot dog?
Yes, it is.
What else would hot dog art be?
Hot dog in the city.
The monocle is really good, Leo.
Well, the only problem with monocles is they don't stay in. You have to really clench your eye socket.
Oh, I love this show.
Yeah, well, it gets weird. I don't know if anybody really knows what's going on with Tesla, but it just doesn't seem healthful, right?
I mean, I think this is part of what happens when you have a company that is ruled by one person and completely capitulates to their whims, you know? I mean, I've always been of kind of the mind that I always joke when I'm talking with my friends about this concept called CEO brainworms, which is not the RFK version of brainworms. This was back in a time where that could be a purely intellectual exercise instead of having face-to-face with reality. But I think that there's something about having a large amount of power for a long period of time to where people increasingly will less frequently say no to you because they want to be closer to that power. It makes you go a little crazy. And I think that when you're the CEO of whatever it is, 5 companies or something like Musk is, and you have complete control over it, it's probably going to amplify that effect.
Yes.
And I'm saying all of this while wearing a Nathan's hot dog hat that is lighting off my head because it is too big.
That.
And Paris, I have found the next activity for you and your buddies. If you go to the New York Times story, I just put in the Discord.
Great.
I see you scroll down to you see 3 friendly young women. I see you bean mustard to your hot dog.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, it's so big.
It's
Oh.
huge.
I guess I now have to show
gigantic.
this.
Oh, that would be quite
a 65-foot hot dog, Leo.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, I do think I could be mustard.
New York, New York. Ba-da-da-da.
If you
Where
can't
else do you see a
make it there,
65-foot hot dog?
you can make it anywhere. Wow. Is that the Macy's parade?
Wow.
What is that? What's the deal with that?
It's an art thing
It's
just
just the
for the
hot dog.
So go to the story, and if you scroll down, you're going to see mustard, ketchup, and pickles. I think that Paris should play mustard.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I'll take it into
Jeff, how
consideration.
can you not love the New York Times when they do stories like this?
This one's good. I praise them.
Also, I just really enjoy the caption on this New York Times article that is, "We're all sauce girls," says Abby Inman, parentheses, mustard, who came with Nora Alice Denman, parentheses, pickle, and Rose Carver, parentheses, ketchup.
What is...
Keep going, Leo.
what is-
Wait,
oh,
so
There you go.
why
There
is-
you go.
So who put the hot dog in Times Square and
Well,
why?
go up in the very extremely pregnant woman and her husband or her
Wow.
mate.
she is rather pregnant.
Scroll the other way. She's 9 months pregnant.
Wow.
But she
and,
got out a hot
and
dog.
proudly so, I might add.
Oh, yes.
And then he looks a lot like Dr. Demento. I don't know what's going on in this picture.
New York.
You know,
It's New York.
I
It's
love the
art, Leo.
photographer.
It's art.
The photographer really captured this somehow.
Yeah.
In some,
They really did.
some magical way. I think my mustaches, sorry to say, have seen better days.
I was about to say, they looked like kind of
kind of not.
worms you were trying to press. Where did your monocle go?
I have it. I just, you can't put in a mustache and wear a monocle at the same time.
Because you got to scrunch your face.
Yeah. This is the good thing about a monocle, though. Say something surprising.
Jeff is actually a robot in disguise.
What? It's a
That is really good.
it's a useful
actually.
reaction. Yeah. That, by the way, that's why that monocle has a clip. You're supposed to attach it to your clothes, which I forgot to do. So now it's on the floor. And these are just pathetic. These are just the worst. They're just
Toilet paper.
They're just not. I think we need to have a new mustache party.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Paris, did you keep scrolling and see the ketchup earrings?
Oh no.
Oh, yes. Keep scrolling.
Oh, they're little Heinz and a
And the
hot dog hair clip.
Huh?
Only
That's
in New York.
huge, actually.
Only in New
Yeah.
York.
And the caption says, "Don't fret, her other earring was mustard."
Oh.
That's really good.
And it's somehow associated with wrestling.
Oh, that's very fun.
They call this a hot dog adjacent wrestling match. A perfect fit for Choke Hole. That's her name. Her camp sensibilities. We feel understood, said this queen. She's in pink. This is just bizarre.
New York, New
Is
York.
this- is this-
Ba-da-da-da.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
You don't get this in Petaluma.
A set director came with a friend named Blythe, the director of a performing arts center. He loved the show, even as a seasoning minority. In parentheses, I'm ketchup only, a hard thing to say.
Oh, I wouldn't admit that in public. That's for
Well,
sure.
all right. So
Yeah,
here's
it's
here's
the paper of
here's
record.
here's the poll. I think it should be a law. The only thing that should go on a hot dog is mustard. Period. Finished.
What? What about like sauerkraut, relish?
Okay, all right, you can do that.
Mustard.
Not
you know?
Not just not.
What about some
ketchup.
crispy onions?
Okay,
Ooh,
not
all right,
ketchup.
now we're talking.
Chili.
Yeah.
It's kind of heavy for a hot dog,
By the
but
way-
I respect your right to
Can I
have that.
just point out that the author of this incredibly hard-hitting story on the hot dog antics in Times Square is Milena Ryzik. She won a Pulitzer Prize in 2018 for public service for reporting on workplace sexual harassment. So
Oh, was that the Me Too?
probably, yeah. The mighty have fallen. She is now.
She deserves a break.
I mean, she deserves to cover the hot dog thing.
I can just see, a Perry White-like editor saying, Melina, I've got a story for you to follow up on your great sexual harassment.
65-foot hot dog.
A 65-foot hot dog in Times Square.
It'd be 3 stories high if it were up and down.
By the way, this will be at Duffy Square if now through June 13th, if you want to go, if you're in the Manhattan area.
It's it's 2 blocks from my former school.
Wait.
And go at noon.
Will you? Oh, wait, no, you're not coming till September. You can't. You're going to miss it, Leo. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, because the confetti cannon shoots it daily at noon. So you really... Oh, God.
Wow.
It comes out of the end of the hot dog.
That's really good.
That's rude. How rude. All right.
It's pretty good.
Broadway
I mean, where else would it
46th
come out
Street.
of?
Oh, they call that Duffy Square, but it's really Times Square, right?
That's Times Square.
Yeah. Is it
By the way,
named?
the
Nathan's hot
original
dog
One
has
Times
mustard.
Square has been cut down to the bone because it's all it is the world's biggest billboard. And so they're rebuilding it now. That's where the ball falls.
Yeah. It's the world's largest hot dog sculpture, and it shoots confetti every day at noon.
And then some poor New York worker has to get rid of all the confetti.
All right. Want to try one?
Hey, it's probably better than wrestling the knockoff Elmos or whatever that hang out in Times Square or whatever else they normally have.
Oh,
to do.
God,
Every
the
time we
dust,
get guests,
new dust.
I say, never hug an Elmo.
No, they're sweaty and
Never, ever hug
the
an
fur
Elmo.
comes off.
Oh, it's no. There's animals in the fur. No.
Yeah, it's not what you want.
Why is it white? Is that the adhesive?
Oh, I'm really happy that we got the mustache on.
I say, shall we take a break now or go on? Let's pause because this mustache is starting to fall off. And it's not a good look. What? Oh, God.
Oh. Did you do the commercial with the hat on or not?
Oh, it's not a commercial. It's just a pause.
Oh, okay. It's one of those.
Just one of those little pauses that refreshes. You're watching This Week in General, and I mean it, This Week in General. On
This week in Goofy Stashes.
Goofy Stashes on Twit with Paris Martineau of The Information and Jeff Jarvis, Professor Emeritus. We got to get Craig Newmark on, although I think at this point, he might wonder if it's probably...
I asked him. He said he'll come on. We just got to ask him. I saw him last week. He gave the welcoming at my event.
From the electric...
I asked him if he wanted to drive up with me if I come, and he said no.
He'll be at the event?
No, he wasn't at the event I held last week.
Oh, I see.
Paris, were you there when Craig gave his welcoming?
No, I was a little late. He did follow me on Twitter this week, so.
Oh. I say hi, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
He's doubting his judgment at this point. How about if I try one of these? These are the top 10 manliest mustaches.
Oh.
This one, I don't know. Is this manly or it's just it's a Fu Manchu?
Does it even stick on your face?
Well, I wanted to test it with the public before.
No, that's not the one.
Remove the adhesive. Oh, too late. These are in better shape.
All right. Oh, that's pretty good.
It's not bad. I feel like I should say number one son. I know Burke very thoughtfully brought in a staple gun to help me attach the mustache. That seems like a bad idea.
What have you done to him lately?
Yeah, no kidding. This is the email Tesla is sending to suppliers after firing the head of supercharging and all 500 of her employees. By the way, there were superchargers in New York City that were being planned that are now on the back burner. Canceled projects that would roll out in the entire country of Australia.
That's the bad news here. It's if you don't want to buy a Tesla, but at least we're going to have a national network of chargers, and they were supposed to open it up, and nope.
This is Jameson Down writing in Electric. Here's the email. To all concerned, you may be aware there has been a recent adjustment with the supercharger organization, which is presently undergoing a sudden and thorough restructuring. What do they call that when in SpaceX when a rocket blows up? It's called RUD, rapid unscheduled demolition, disassembly. I think that's actually what this was, a rapid unscheduled disassembly. If you've already received this email, please disregard it. So, all right, part one. They got a problem with their mailing list. We're attempting to connect. We're attempting to connect with our suppliers and contractors. Apparently, the person who had the Rolodex is gone. As part of this process, we are in the midst of establishing new leadership roles, prioritizing projects, and streamlining our payment procedures. Due to the transitional nature of this phase, we are asking for your patience with our response time. I understand that this period of change may be challenging and that patience is not easy when expecting to be paid.
Ooh.
However, I wish to express my sincere appreciation for your understanding and support as we navigate again through this transition. At this time, please hold on breaking ground on any newly awarded construction projects and planned pre-construction walks. If currently working on an active supercharging construction site, please continue. Hold on working on any new material orders. If waiting on delayed payment, please contact us for a status update. This does not sound good to have to send this out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes to show just how unexpected and seemingly out of the blue this decision to fire the entire supercharger team.
Honestly, it feels like Elon ordered the person running the team to do something. I actually read some leak about it, but I have to find that about what she wanted. He wanted her to do something. She said no. I get the feeling he just stands there and says, "You're all fired. Get out." Yeah, that's very Elon, right? You're all fired. Get out. Unbelievable. I would, seriously, if I were buying a Tesla, in the process of buying a Tesla or thinking about it, I would have to reconsider at this point. I didn't want to buy one.
Leo, I would have long since reconsidered.
Yeah, I did. I bought one Tesla and never again. Hey, here's some good news, though. If you are an EV owner or anybody that uses lithium-ion batteries, there is a new battery in town from a company called Natron Energy. It is a sodium battery. It does not use lithium. And in fact, the good news about this, of course, is sodium, salt, is easily and widely available, unlike lithium. You don't have to, strip mine to get salt. Sodium is 500 to 100,000 times more abundant than lithium, and you don't have to extract it from the earth. Natron says its sodium-ion batteries are made entirely from abundantly available commodity materials, including aluminum, iron, and manganese, all available through a reliable U.S.-based domestic supply chain, free from geopolitical disruption. And the cobalt and nickel, of course, in your lithium-ion batteries are really difficult to get without harming people. Sodium-ion batteries offer a unique alternative to lithium-ion, higher power, faster recharge, longer life cycle, and a completely safe and stable chemistry. You don't have the fire problem that you have with lithium-ion. Now, there is a negative. There has to be. There's a downside of this. They're not as battery dense as lithium, or power dense as lithium-ion. The sodium-ion batteries are 70 watt-hours per kilogram, which is less than half, maybe even much less than half what lithium-ion can do. But they are coming up with new formulations that might improve. Batteries charge and discharge 10 times faster than lithium-ion. And the estimated life cycle, instead of 5,000 charge-recharge cycles, is 50,000. Oh. So this is very good news. And it is now, this is not, in the lab they've discovered this. They're making them. Natron's plans call for the Holland facility to crank production up to 600 megawatts annually at full tilt. They will be building others. So this is...
Do they say what they think the first use is for them? What they're...
This is actually one of them. Let me see. So they officially commenced production of their rapid charging, long life, lithium-free sodium batteries this week. But what are they used for?
I'm going to assume it's low-powered stuff first, right?
Yeah, because it's unclear on how big the batteries would have to be to move a vehicle, right? But you could charge them 10 times faster, which would be really big. Anyway, something to watch. There's not a lot of detail. This is an article from New Atlas you can read from C.C. Weiss. Lithium-free sodium batteries exit the lab and enter U.S. production.
Good news. See, we had all this bad news.
See, there's some good news.
Now we have good news. Yeah.
They're targeting industrial backup power applications, so uninterruptible power supplies.
Oh, because they have to be building sites first, right?
Yeah. So this is a Blue Rack 250 battery cabinet, which goes from kilowatts to multi-megawatts. Wow.
Ooh.
That's really cool.
Well, I wonder what this would be for, like, your home and your solar.
Yeah, we have Tesla power walls in our house right now. They're basically, I think, recycled lithium-ion batteries from old Tesla vehicles, but they're great because if the power goes out, there's a brief hesitation and then it stays on running off battery.
How long?
Well, you have to. It depends on how much you use and how many batteries you have. We have 2, which powers the house for enough time. If we shut most things down to get to the daytime when the sunlight will recharge them. So,
oh, I see.
Yeah, the idea is to kind of continuously operate with the help of the sun. House. Yeah. So TikTok has
breaking news.
Yeah, you got breaking news. Go ahead, go for it.
Breaking news for news here. I just saw this from the Wrap that there's going to be a sequel to The Office about a dying newspaper.
But I believe the major plot point is that the newspaper is dying, so they bring in a team of volunteer reporters to fill the gaps. So it's kind of an oops all scab situation, I guess.
There has to be a private equity angle here. There has to be.
There's gotta be, right?
Please, an evil hedge fund person who's never seen.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I think that's fantastic.
Sorry, I just wanted to give you that little
Great
update.
Story. We knew this would happen, but it has happened now. TikTok has filed lawsuit against the U.S. government over the forced sale or ban of the company. They're challenging it on First Amendment rights.
As well they should.
Tuesday, TikTok sued. This is from the New York Times. TikTok sued the federal government over a new law that would force blah, 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 stoking a battle over national security and free speech that is likely to end up in the Supreme Court. TikTok said the law violated the First Amendment by effectively removing an app that millions of Americans use to share their views and communicate freely. It argues that a divestiture is not possible, especially within the 270-day timeline, pointing to difficulties like Beijing's refusal to sell a key feature of the algorithm that powers TikTok in the U.S.
Which only enhances, however, the argument that Beijing is in charge, which doesn't
This is in the 67-page petition. They say for the first time in history, Congress has enacted a law that subjects a single named speech platform to a permanent nationwide ban and bars every American from participating in a unique online community with more than 1 billion people worldwide. And they say there's no question the act will force a shutdown of TikTok January 19th, 2025.
Suckers. So I went to the New York Times Deal Book for an important analysis and explanation. Question and answer. Do legal experts think TikTok has a chance at winning? Answer. It could go either way.
Wow.
Thanks for the deep,
Isn't that
insightful analysis.
That's really helpful.
The suit was filed in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. The First Amendment argument's interesting. Of course, we've talked about this before, and the expectation from experts that the government would not fight the First Amendment argument, but would instead refer to national security. And historically, apparently, the Supreme Court has always allowed the government to act in the interest of national security.
One would hope they should be required to have some evidence.
Yeah, that would be an interesting question, right?
But the problem is it's going to be a bunch of moral panic about, oh my God, they're twisting the brains of teenagers.
One expert at the Times talked to a visiting scholar at the Institute for Rebooting Social Media at Harvard. He said,
this one I never heard of.
Wow.
Said that Project Texas is likely to play a key role. This is TikTok's plan to have all of the data of United States customers stored in the United States by Oracle. And he says TikTok will attempt to persuade the judge that there's a viable alternative. Let's do this, which seems interesting. National security concerns about TikTok are speculative, says the Times, and fall short of what's required to justify violating First Amendment rights. At least that's what the lawsuit says. So this is very interesting.
Something I thought was interesting this week is, I think today, even Luis Matsakis wrote a piece for The Atlantic about a part of this, I guess, whole argument that I hadn't heard of is that lawmakers are arguing that the Chinese internet is better for kids than American internet.
Oh, that's good. Let's get that on there.
Oh, that's where we're headed. Oy.
It begins with, over the past week, I've spent several hours scrolling through Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, also owned by ByteDance. Both apps are governed by a central algorithm which recommends videos. Here's what I saw one morning in the order it was fed to me. A video of an influencer wearing glittery thigh-high stockings posing for a photo shoot. A live stream broadcast of a girl who appeared to be using editing software to make her breasts look comically enormous. A clip from a samurai-themed video game and a day in the life vlog.
Sounds much better for kids to me.
I mean, in other words, she says it largely mirrored what can be found on the American version of TikTok.
What a
Although
surprise.
notably, she didn't see many political videos or criticism of the Chinese government. What is readily apparent, she writes, is that Douyin is not the sanitized utopia that some commentators have described. This is from Senator Ted Cruz. He wrote, in China, TikTok is a comparable product that promotes educational videos on math and science to kids. In America, they're promoting videos on eating Tide Pods.
Oh, Ted. Sigh. By the way, congratulations to Louise Matsakis, who's been on our shows many times. We love Louise, and she's a freelancer. And writing for The Atlantic, I think, is pretty good. That's a pretty good place to be.
Fantastic.
Good piece, too.
She's been writing for Wired, too. And just a bunch of great work. She's got her own newsletter.
Yep. We should give a plug to her newsletter. What's the name of it?
Let me look it up.
It's good. It's real good. Get it.
I subscribe to it. You may also like.
Oh, yeah. That's a great name.
Oh, yeah.
You may also like. Isn't that Tabula's motto? I think it is.
Basically.
Yeah.
I famously was a Tabula chum box for Halloween one year, and not that many people got it.
Got it. So they call that, when you get to the bottom of a website, you're reading the article you want, and then you're bombarded with, you won't believe what they looked like in high school and what they look like today articles. Mm-hmm. That is called a chum box, because you're chumming is what you do to attract sharks, right? You throw out dead fish heads and stuff trying to get the sharks to congregate or whatever.
I'll see if I can find a
That's funny.
Photo
you
of
may
it.
Also like. You went as a you may also like.
I did. I made custom little ads and articles. I thought they were very funny, actually.
Great. So Apple had a little event, you might have heard, yesterday announcing new iPads. What you may have missed in all of the attention Apple got on the new iPads is that Google announced the new Pixel 8a yesterday. Now, this is a perfect example.
They missed it.
This is a perfect example. Oh, there, by the way, before we go on, we got to show a lovely picture of you as a chum box. Holy moly.
It did not win the Office Halloween costume, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. Look how many things have happened since I... Aw. That's a good costume.
It's a whole chum box.
Were there special headlines?
Yeah, I wrote, you won't believe what the Teletubby sun baby looks like now. Leading doctor reveals #1 reason you're going to hell. Old man got ripped fast by doing this one weird trick daily, and it's a photo of a shoe in a pot. New law in Brooklyn, New York. You won't believe this, and it's a skeleton behind bars. And also 50 images of things you had no idea existed. Whoa, and it's a photo of muffins.
This is you won't believe what the Teletubby sun baby looks like now. And top gut doctor, I beg all Americans to throw out this vegetable. And then it looks like some sort of carved avocado. I don't know.
It looks like an avocado with a face.
With a face. Yeah, do throw that out if you find it. For sure.
Brilliant, Paris.
Oh, Paris, you're just not appreciated by your contemporaries. That's why you have to hang out with your grandparents.
My grandparents here. You guys get me.
We get you, man.
Sorry, where were we? Were we talking about tech
this
news?
poor Pixel 8. Now, we are so easily, nobody cares apparently. Nobody cares about the Pixel 8. They announced it the same day as Apple announced new iPads. Nobody covered it. This is the Pixel 8a. They do this every year. They release the flagship phone, and then 6 months later, they release the low-price version of it. And actually, this looks really good. In fact, according to Google, it's an unbeatable value. $499. These usually are the phones I recommend for people who haven't yet purchased an Android phone but want one, or a Pixel phone but want one. It is very much like the Pixel 8. It's got the Tensor G3 chip. A lot of AI features like Gemini. And they're pretty. It's the cameras usually you sacrifice a little bit, but it has a lot of those AI features. You could choose the best shot, and you can erase stuff. Magic Eraser. It's got night sight, photo unblur, and they like to mention this, as does Apple. It's got real tone to accurately represent everyone's skin tone in photos and videos.
Google did it first.
And you can Photoshop your face into it, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's the best shot. So you take a shot.
Okay, it means that you take your face from a different photo and you Photoshop it into
so you have the
photo.
best face for everybody.
I don't know if that counts, though. I think that's a fake photo.
He says the woman wearing a foam Nathan's hot dog.
Yeah, this is a real Nathan's hot dog hat.
Paris, I think at this year's Halloween you have to go as a hot dog.
Again,
how do we relate that to the internet, Jeff?
I'm trying to talk about the
is that it?
8A.
Oh, well, it's a meme. Paris is the hot dog meme, which took me forever to figure out what it was.
People just don't care. Nobody cares.
Jeff, you'd also like, one year I went as a, what I could say the scariest thing ever. It was a paywall.
Oh, my God. That is funny.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the hot dog meme, which took me forever.
Sorry,
to figure out
Leo, we're going to talk about the phone. Tell us things you like about it or don't like about it.
It does beg the question, what the hell's wrong with Google? We've known that Apple was going to have an event on May 7th for at least a week, and they still did it. I mean...
Okay, wait. While we're talking about tech, are we going to talk about the iPad Pro ad?
Which one do you want to talk about? There are.
Do you guys not know about this already?
No.
I'll put the link in the chat.
The one where it compares it to an iPod Nano? That's the only one I've seen.
No, this is the first time I feel like in years an ad is having like major backlash that
it sparks outrage, says Variety.
It is a iPad Pro ad that I guess is supposed to show how much stuff is fit into the flat iPad, but really what it is a giant hydraulic press crushing everything you know and love about the world. It crushes a piano, it crushes every other form of art, it crushes a cool old game kiosk, and it all crushes them to smithereens, and then out pops a really thin iPad, and it's like, you don't need any of that more. You got
so
iPad.
Funny. So, because
and everyone hates it.
Micah Sargent and I were covering the event. They showed this at the event as the prelude to announcing the iPad. It was there is a TikTok, hydraulic press TikTok, where you press all sorts of things. And obviously they were doing a takeoff on that to show how thin it is. Actor Hugh Grant commented on X, which the destruction of the human experience, courtesy of Silicon Valley. And just to be clear, he wasn't talking about X. He was talking about this iPad ad. Justine Bateman said, "Truly, what is wrong with you?" in response to Tim Cook's post. This is just Twitter nonsense. Like iPads, but don't know why anyone... I like iPads, but says producer, director, and writer Asif Kapadia, but I don't know why anyone thought this ad was a good idea. Really? Really? There are so many things you could be outraged by in this world.
Oh, plenty. More every day.
Why that?
I mean, I just thought it was kind of interesting that so many people were getting mad over an Apple ad. Like, when is the last time an Apple or big tech advertisement incited any strong emotion in anyone?
Here is a Reza 60 Safari. Hey, Apple, I fixed it for you. Sound on. He put the iPad in there.
He reverses the ad.
It ran it backwards. Oh, everything's better now. Really, do people find that? I mean, what? Really, this is what offends you in the world?
I think it speaks to more just that it is a time when people are experiencing increasing anxiety over the dominance of tech in our everyday life. It is a time when the rise of generative AI has made a bunch of different creative classes worried about the fact that they will be crushed by tech giants.
Right.
And then you have a tech company that literally has an ad that is crushing creative, symbols of it is a hydraulic press that crushes pianos and other artistic things. That's what the ad is. And people were like, it's a little too on the nose.
And actually, in a way, I think running it backwards is, I'm sorry, my glasses
your meta glasses
are talking to me. Shut up. Running it backwards actually is more what Apple wants to say, I think. Right? Like, here's all of this great experience and stuff in this iPad, instead of we crushed your world and made a product out of it. So, all right. I will get.
I love that you're just hitting. Why are you hitting yourself, Leo?
It won't stop. It won't stop. Okay, it stopped. Yeah, I didn't know people were so upset about that. How interesting.
The hat was on backwards the whole time?
Yeah, no, not the whole time, just most recently.
Okay.
I wasn't upset by this. Were you upset by it, John? Benito, when you saw it?
I actually didn't see it.
So. Oh, all right. Are you upset now?
I mean, I see why people are upset. That's messed up. But it's an ad. All ads suck, right?
Yeah. They see. I
mean, all ads suck.
They see it as a assault on humanity, I guess.
I think people just see it as being a little too on the nose for what is happening right now.
I mean, when Mike and I were watching it yesterday, I was kind of like, what the hell? Because it was messy. But I understood what they were playing off of the TikTok channel where the hydraulic press crushes things, right?
I know that channel.
Yeah.
I love that channel.
And then
I like it when it makes a fun noise.
There's a wonderful, and by the way, this is why TikTok's so great. There's a wonderful remix channel of that where, what's her name? The great dancer plays the object being crushed by the hydraulic press and dances it's being crushed. Have you seen that?
No.
It's wonderful. But this is what irritates me, that idiot Ted Cruz, it just irritates me.
There's a lot of idiots on this.
There's so much creativity on TikTok and so much really interesting stuff, and they have yet to produce any evidence that it is anything terrible that they said it was. All right. Let's do some hydraulic pressing. How about that? That'll make me feel much better.
It's just like David Letterman used to throw things off roofs.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Here it is, crushing candy.
I'm pretty sure this was a YouTube channel a long time ago.
Yeah, it probably was.
It's pretty good.
Probably was. Yeah, it's great. You see all sorts of stuff being crushed. Let me see if I can find the dancer, though, because she's so funny. Yeah, this is.
I mean, searching hydraulic press on on TikTok is going to be
SMAC. No, SMAC. Watch. This is an example. Hydraulic press crushing candies, and she dances. It's the candy. I think that's great. No, right?
That's pretty good.
She does. She's a wonderful dancer, and she becomes the thing that's being crushed. I guess you have
This
to
is amazing.
see it.
This is great.
Like, this is creativity. And that's the other thing that's really cool about TikTok is how you have one channel and then the remixes of it that other people do.
It is the first. It is the true internet medium, the first one, because it enables a collaboration.
Yeah.
No other medium before has been so collaborative as TikTok.
I wouldn't call it collaboration. I would call this remixing.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd say it's
remixing.
the same principle as the reblog or retweet. But I think it is a video riff on that, which is fun.
I think it's something
it's
different because
video.
you're creating art together. I think it's, Benito, I think it's collaboration.
No,
What
but
word
they aren't
did you
working
use?
A retweet is also
the
art.
hydraulic press video guys didn't talk to the lady. Like, they didn't talk about
Doesn't
this.
matter.
No,
They
but
make
that's
something
collabs
together.
on TikTok
what
are
a
like that.
collaboration is.
And the same thing happens
Yeah.
to my son's sandwich videos. People do, takes and riffs on that. And, a chef
But a
reacts.
collaboration is two people agreeing to work together.
So it's not a
No.
but they,
No.
it's not a collab. It's just
That's
you know what it is?
That's copyright thing.
it's challenge response.
Yes. Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, call and response. That's
Call and response. And that's a classic tradition
in collaboration
in the arts. Did you see?
Salt Hank should get someone to dance out his videos. I think that could be kind of fun. They could pretend to be like a piece of chicken being sauteed or something.
Did you see?
Mayo.
I wasn't going to show this. I watched this morning, and I thought it was amusing. But now I'm kind of interested in. Let me see if I can find it. I Want a Man Finance Trust Fund 6'5".
6'5". Yeah.
Blue eyes, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No,
I'm looking for a man. It's a woman who, the TikTok, I can react it for you. I can reenact it. She says, "Did I just make the song of the summer?" And she goes, "I'm looking for a man in finance, blue eyes, trust fund, 6'5". Something like that. I'm looking for a man in finance. You could just look, you could just search that phrase in TikTok.
I'm gonna find it because what
up.
happened is same thing. Call and response. Here's the original.
6'5", blue eyes, finance, trust fund.
It's incredibly annoying.
Blue eyes. I'm looking for a man. I'm looking for a man. I'm looking for a.
But what she, in a way, this is a collab because she's asking for somebody to remix it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? And then, of course, people did. And there's some kind of amazing.
Blue eyes, finance, trust fund.
This is beautiful.
Again, I just want to celebrate how cool TikTok is.
We've got to start a campaign to save TikTok.
Yeah.
We love TikTok.
Yeah. Here's Honeybee.
Man in finance, trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes, finance, trust fund. 6'5", I'm looking for a man in finance.
Now, Benito, you could do this. You could. What would this be a creative act for you to take that simple vocal track and make something out of it? It'd be kind of fun, right?
I mean, that's what remixing is.
It's remix. Yeah. There's quite a few of these, by the way.
There are quite a few.
Here he is.
Trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes, finance. 6'5", blue eyes. I'm looking for a man.
I don't know if he's volunteering or what, but you can see how much there is of this. It's kind of incredible.
So many.
Man in finance with trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes.
Making Random Internet People Famous Part 5.
I'm looking for a man in finance. 6'5", blue eyes, finance, trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes. I'm looking for a man, looking for a man, looking for a man, looking for a man. I'm looking for a man in finance. 6'5", blue eyes.
That's pretty good.
That's 10 steps official.
Benito, is it the sea shanty collaboration?
That's the same thing. Yeah.
But it is collab. I'm trying to fight with Benito here. That's collaboration.
I like call and response.
Challenge.
I am going to go
Everybody's
with call and
doing
response because
I always felt that collaboration is two people working together on one thing.
Collaborating.
That's two people working together on
They're
one thing.
doing it in a remote way.
I think we're arguing semantics here.
Yes. And you know
That's
what?
exactly what we're arguing. Yes. Exactly.
I am proposing that we call it call and response, which is a great tradition in African music and in African church. And it is sort of both, because when you do the call and response, the preacher who does the call is expecting the parishioners to respond and back and forth and back and forth. But it is also a remix. So there. All right. And I'm looking for a
There's
man
also the
in
guy
finance.
who plays piano to Howling Dogs.
Oh, I like this one.
Looking for a man in finance. Trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes. Finance. Trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes. I'm looking for a man. Looking for a man. Looking for a man in finance.
To the Hamptons.
This we're going to lose in 259 days, ladies and gentlemen.
Did you see that Sarah Cooper is in Unfrosted?
No, don't even mention this to me. The Pop-Tart movie.
Yeah.
Okay, you better tell us who is Sarah Cooper.
Sarah Cooper was the woman who lip-synced Donald Trump in those brilliant videos.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
You think to cite a verse?
No, I don't want to do that.
So if you're not watching the video, you're missing her a really amazing lip syncing of that. So now She has made her big breakthrough.
She's now a star.
In
Yes.
the Pop-Tart movie.
Yes, unfrosted.
And you seem like, I may be wrong, Paris, you're less than enthusiastic about the Pop-Tarts movie.
Yeah, I don't have any strong opinions about it or knowledge of it, but the words Pop-Tarts movie to me inspire contempt.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's this wave of movies about marketers. It's like, what?
It started, well, we had the...
I don't really know.
We had the Beanie Baby movie.
Air.
We had Tetris. We had a BlackBerry.
The Nike. BlackBerry was the only one where they were actually like kind of honest about what happened.
Because that was the inventors. Air, what was Air? Was about Nike.
Nike.
Yeah, you're right. There is a kind of trend here.
They're
It's
like,
also
it's
kind
all
of
about
an answer to
marketers
Barbie.
patting themselves on the back and then marketing their movie.
Well, but this is a mockery of all of them.
Yeah, but they're all a mockery.
The movies, I watched the first half of the movie. It's not that good, but it's the individual jokes. It's made for trailers.
Seinfeld and Melissa McCarthy is all you need to know.
I believe we have split the atom of breakfast.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Here, I've got a palate cleanser for us, which I just put in the chat, which is from my favorite medium, Dropout, which I think could be a good palate cleanser for us.
What is Dropout?
It's that streaming service by the former college humor people that now makes a bunch of money.
Oh,
doing
you
TV
love
shows
Dropout.
and improv.
And
but this is I
this
put
the
a
Battleship?
TikTok.
The Game Changer?
No, yeah, it's called Game Changer.
Okay, here we
It
go.
is
Here we go. It is
kind of a prompt.
It is a game show. Game
Yes.
Changer show. Here we go.
But it's Donald Trump.
His Trump. No.
So the prompt is Sauron, but it's Donald
These
Trump.
people, tiny little freaks. Okay, they don't wear shoes. They're smoking crack, perhaps they live in holes in the ground. People, hey, you see a round door with a knob in the middle. Where does it go to the side? How does the knob in the middle of the door open the door?
Yeah, all right.
Folks, we're gonna have a
This is Pop-Tarts to me, Paris. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And now it's time for Scooter X's Google changelog.
The Google changelog.
We're naming it for you, Scooter X. The Google. YouTube's AI-powered jump ahead feature is now rolling out widely to premium users. Woohoo! It uses AI.
So they can jump right forward to our discussion of Pop-Tarts.
Right. It lets you jump to the
forward just to the
good
hats.
parts.
Yeah, because it's not based on what it's saying. It's based on what most viewers typically skip to, which seems like a weak signal as far as I'm concerned.
It is a weak signal.
Yeah. It combines user data and AI to predict what you would like to watch. Should we try it? We should try it with one of our shows, actually. Actually, I'll leave that as an exercise.
Go to one a while ago so it has enough data.
Yeah. I'll leave that as an exercise.
Okay. Is that homework? What's it saying to you?
It's talking to me. Okay. No! Glasses. Okay. Google. No! Okay, we've just had a little glimpse into the AI-powered world of the future, and I'm thinking...
It's irritating.
I'm not sure I really want all those AI-powered things on my body. Wow. Just focus. Will you focus, Meta? Google is changing, which is ironic for me to say that, but changing how you set up 2FA. You no longer need to enter your phone number to enable two-factor authentication, and that's a good thing. That's the right way to go. You can add a second.
You don't have to enter your phone.
You don't
number.
have to. You can.
You can.
But you can use a hardware key or a pass key or the Google Authenticator, but you don't have to give them the phone number first, which is good. Although I will make a case if you have a Google account for providing those secondary ways to reach you, like a different email address or a different phone number, because that makes account recovery a lot easier. If you don't have that, it's very difficult to recover a lost Google account. Google Chrome now has a Gemini AI shortcut. I will pronounce it
You can't
Gemini.
demonstrate it, however, because you don't have Chrome, you snob.
I am using Firefox. Right.
If you say at
At Gemini or?
At Gemini.
Okay.
Well,
and then
just
oh my God, it comes up.
She's doing it right now.
What should I ask Gemini?
Who is Leo Laporte? No,
okay.
It's too important.
Oh, it's too easy.
Too easy.
I'm saying, who is Leo Laporte and what are his vibes? Oh, it didn't help. It just brought me to chat with Gemini. All right. How do I agree. I've got to agree to terms of services. Oh, I can't. I need to read all of this before I agree. Actually, I can't do it.
Anyway, well, that's fine. This is just a soupçon of things.
Leo Laporte is a big name in tech media, though he recently retired from his radio show.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Here's the breakdown.
It described your vibes as for vibes, it depends on who you ask. Some might say enthusiastic and passionate. His love for tech shines through, making him a fun guide to the latest gadget and trends. Authoritative figure. However, others might see him as opinionated. He's not afraid to share his views, which sometimes come off as strong. Old school. Having started in traditional media, his approach might feel less fresh compared to some younger tech influencers.
Who said that? Gemini said that?
Gemini said that.
That's the first time I've been dissed by an AI, and I don't like it.
Wow.
Sue, Leo, sue.
That's really interesting. Like most people, that's one of the things I'll test an AI with, and usually it's all the same kind of anodyne stuff.
Have you been asking about your vibes?
Oh, that's how you did
it? Yeah. I said, who is Leo Laporte, and what are his vibes?
Vibes? Even the very act of asking about vibes kind of tilts it in the direction of he's too old for you.
See, I asked the same question and I didn't get that.
Well, AI does that. That's
what it was random.
Yeah, it's random.
Retired but still active.
That's worse.
I take walks every day, and of course, I eat my Raisin Bran. Google TV's magic button is finally here. Congratulations.
But not with Google.
Wait, I'm sorry. A brief aside. Below it says search-related topics. Who is Leo Laporte? And then what happened to Leo Laporte?
Stop it!
Sorry. Continue.
Lisa asks me that every day. What happened to the man I married?
Who is Paris Martineau?
They're not going to know.
Get a vibe check on Paris Martineau.
And what are her vibes?
Yeah.
Are her vibes.
Hey, Meta, give me a vibe check on Leo Laporte.
Well-known tech personality and podcaster, known for his enthusiastic and affable on-air presence.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Meta.
Affable.
Avuncular, sometimes they say. Google TV, you don't care about the magic button. Okay. It's officially.
What does it do?
It's remappable. I don't know. It doesn't
what makes
say.
It magic.
It's magic. It was previously leaked. It's debuting now in Walmart and the latest Google TV box. I actually have to say I love the Google TV. I think it's a very nice, inexpensive device to add 4K streaming to any TV for a very low price. Apparently, you can create a shortcut when you press the star button to either open a favorite TV app, perform an action. It's a shortcut button. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And you can have it, it gives you a page of apps you can choose from and so forth. So look for that if you, it won't, I guess if you have a current Google TV, it won't magically appear, but in future, number of search results drop. Oh, we did this one. Number of Google drops, or did we? Number of search results dropped. Google search results page. Oh, no, this is, Google has removed the number of results found. Oh, remember you used to see that?
It used to say 5,467,325 search results. Now it doesn't do that anymore because it's meaningless.
Okay, it's meaningful to me whenever I am writing something and I need to try and and I'm trying to determine whether or not the phrase I have in my head is a real phrase that human people say or something I've made up. And then I search it in quotes and see how many times it's been used online. And, if it's like over 100,000, then I feel like I'm okay.
So the trick is to click the button that says tools in it that will then be available for you there.
Wait, Paris. Wouldn't you want it to be, don't you want to break the cliche? And
No. I'm just saying if it's like something that I'm thinking of that I think is a real idiom, but it turns out is not, I want to make sure I'm getting the idiom right if I'm sometimes.
Oh, I see.
No.
I see. I remember getting into a fight with an editor of People when I said, it was a case of the pot calling the kettle metal. And he was insisting on changing it to black. And I said, no, that's the point. You see, I took the cliche and I changed it. And we fought and fought and fought and fought. And I won. And I ended up in a book of quotations, Simpsons Book of Quotations.
Oh, that's so fun.
Let me get the card. I'm going to add that to the card here. Hold on a second. I ended up in a book of Simpsons quotations. So I searched for what is Leo Laporte doing now on Google, right? But it doesn't show the number of results unless you click tools right here. And then it says about 2.2 million results. You know why they didn't do that? I bet you that saves them a lot of CPU cycles and energy and water and all that stuff. That's got to be another query that they're just eliminating. That'd be my guess. And good on them.
I also am in Simpsons quotations for saying that John Lennon's widow, when singing, sounded like an eagle being goosed.
That's a good line.
Wait, how did this end up in? Oh, Simpsons contemporary. For some reason, I thought you were talking about the show The Simpsons.
Oh, Simpsons. Oh, no.
I was like, how?
That would be.
I didn't know there was just a book of notable quotes. That's fun.
Yeah, that's Bartlett. Died, so somebody else had to take over, and that's Simpson. That is, unless you can come up with something else, Scooter X.
That was my list, so you can blame me.
Yeah, good job, thank you.
Scooter X always has more.
Scooter X has just given up apparently on the changelog. So that's your Google.
Whoa.
Changelog.
Let's not throw shade around on Scooter X.
Oh, Scooter X is fed up. He's done. He's done.
Scooter X says, I pasted a lot.
Oh.
I was going to say, I think he pasted like 40 or something in there. He definitely did.
I'm sorry. I besmirched his reputation.
But it's too late now. It's over.
I played
Once the drums play,
button.
there is no change log.
Can do. I'm tempted to go back and look.
Nope.
Find My Device can locate Pixel 8 for a few hours after it powers off. That's a good one.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good one. Let's see. We did that Google search. Google app on Android adds share button for search results. That's actually a nice thing. You could share your search results. You could say, see, the pot calling the metal black is good. Or whatever. Okay. Anyway, Google adds new payment methods list on Android. Matter 1.3 adds support for more appliances and EV chargers. This is really a remarkable array of things that you have found us.
Oh, there's a huge one here. Files by Google renames favorites to starred. That's big.
That's big.
Google bans advertisers
to hide it from Ruth Porat.
Google bans advertisers from promoting deep fake porn services, as they should. Google message notifications. This is interesting. APK teardown shows that Google's working on showing the names that belong to unknown numbers in your message notifications.
Oh.
I don't know how they would do that, but that's interesting. Yeah.
That is interesting.
So there's a few extra freebies thanks to Scooter X.
I think we need the drums again. Otherwise, the universe is not.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Order.
Do you have the means? Apparently not.
To do what?
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, play it again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's
no.
the Google changelog.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you don't want to start it again. Then we have to start
we're
again. We're not crazy. Let's. You're watching This Week in Google with Paris Martineau, Jeff Jarvis. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks especially to our club members who make the show possible. Without them, I don't know where we would be, to be honest with you. We have a big shortfall coming up in the next quarter. But thank you to the club members for making up the difference. If you're not yet a member of the club, really the real reason to join is not for all the benefits, things like the Discord, where we have a lot of fun all around the clock. Not for the ad-free versions of the shows or the special video versions of shows that you only hear in audio. It is, I guess, arguably because you want to support the network. But really, I think the real reason to join the club is the community here. We have an amazing community of listeners, smart people who have lots to say, who want to talk. And if you're looking for a nice community to join, a wonderful community, inspiring community to join, I would highly recommend the Club Twit. All you have to do is pay $7 a month for entry. There's family plans and corporate plans. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit to learn more. I love Facebook. That's why I'm suing Meta, says Ethan Zuckerman. I'm guessing you put this one in, Jeff.
Yeah, this Ethan was MIT, and now he's at University of Massachusetts. And he found a kind of, Masnick had a really long explanation of this, but he found kind of a typo in section 230. It's a section that's not the 26 words that basically says that we can use outside apps, middleware. They're crediting Francis Fukuyama with inventing the title middleware for this. I don't think he did. But so that we can have our own feeds and do our own things. The thing I don't understand, Leo, maybe you've followed the story, is that the thing he wants to do is something that says unfollow all on Facebook. I don't understand how that gives you control of what you have if you're not following anybody.
Well, it doesn't do anything if you're not following anybody, but what it does do, it lets you reset your account if you are following people. I mean, that's a big thing. You know, I'm back on Facebook, but I don't follow a lot of people. But back in the way back when, it would have been nice, you know, when I'm following thousands, literally, of people on Facebook to just unfollow all and start over. I'm not sure I would sue over that. I mean,
he wants to set a precedent saying that we could then, you know, have our own algorithms and our own things, which is fine. But I'm not
actually
sure.
what he's suing about is the fact that there was an extension that did this, which Facebook blocked.
Right.
And that Facebook should be more open about these kinds of extensions. I think Facebook has a good argument, which is there is a massive security issue here and privacy issue here if you allow these extensions to do what they want. And I think it seems completely reasonable for Facebook to control its platform. Furthermore, it's well within their rights. So I have, while I understand his motive, I don't see this going anywhere.
I agree.
Frankly.
Thank you. I needed an explanation.
Yeah. No, I would have loved that back in the day because I wanted to start over. There's no really good way to start over.
What you really want is Facebook to provide that feature for you, so you can.
That would be the best. But I don't think that's his point. I think his point is Facebook should have an open platform that we could write these extensions for. Would be better. What else? Pick some more on here that you like.
Jack Dorsey has left the Bluesky board and is now saying stay on X. Jack,
oh boy.
Jack.
It's also, I mean, it doesn't seem like he was ever that involved with Bluesky.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. And let's not forget, there's an important part here, is that he ended up keeping like $1 billion of his Twitter stock.
Oh boy.
Not requiring Elon to buy it from him, thus giving Elon what amounts to a gift in his air quotes investment now in X.
So that's okay. So let me. I don't pretend to know what Dorsey's motivations are or how he's thinking.
No one does. Yeah.
But maybe it is the case that, as many of us thought after Elon took over Twitter, that it was doomed, and that he was driving into the ground and it was going to fall apart. But we also mourned that, and many of us, I think, thought that we needed something like Twitter. I hate to say it, but Bluesky ain't doing it. 4 million users compared to the, how many is it? 800 million users.
It's enough for me.
Twitter.
I got good conversations there.
I mean, even Threads has more than 100 million users. So 4 million is pretty small. Mastodon is actually probably around the same size. I think maybe Jack says, okay, I get it. We need Twitter. And nothing's going to take its place. I thought maybe we could do that with Bluesky. we need, and maybe he's also saying, and Bluesky's doing just fine. They don't need me anymore. But I really do want to kind of try to keep Twitter alive. I'm not sure that's his motivation. I'm just arguing that that's perhaps
I don't know.
a reasonable point of view. Wouldn't you? I mean, you're still using it. A lot of people still use it. I don't understand why.
Because there's people there I care about, communities I care about.
Yeah, so you want to save it, right?
Yeah.
I just can't abandon it. It's an addiction.
So, yep. So all of these people who are still using it, you're doing the same thing Jack Dorsey is. You're trying to save it. You're trying to keep it alive.
Good point.
All right. So you can't really, I mean, I don't think you should save it. I think it's full of horrible stuff, but there you go. Elon does have a plan for AI news inside of X. An AI bot will summarize news and commentary. By the way, you bought, back in the day, you bought the program that did that, Jonathan Abrams' wonderful, what was it called? I've forgotten now. I blanked it out because I miss it so much.
Nuzzle,
thank you.
Twitter bought it.
Was that out of your own memory or Google's, Paris?
She remembers
no, that's out of my own memory.
That's out of her own hot dog brain.
Love young again, huh, Leo?
Yeah. But we all loved Nuzzle,
out of your
right?
Head?
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, but Twitter, pre-Elon, by the way, Jack Dorsey bought it and really didn't incorporate the features.
I mean, they shut it down.
Basically.
Well, it was in Blue. It was part of Blue.
They added a news tab.
Then it was part of Twitter Blue.
But it wasn't as good. And now, so I guess what Elon's saying is we need something like this, but it'll be AI instead, which I don't know.
It'll also be Elon's horrible opinions stuck in there. It'll be awful.
Yeah. And you want to save this for some reason?
Relationships, Leo.
He's got like 70 billion followers or something on there.
Look, no, you don't have more than I do. I have more than 500,000. And I don't want to save it. But I don't like people. So that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
That's true.
What else? Anything else before we wrap up that you really want to get in here? There's a lot of AI stuff, but you pretty much cover this every week right before this show with Jason Howell, right? On AI Inside. Yeah. So if you really, we'll do AI, but if you really want to follow AI closely,
Jeff,
AI Inside.
What is the forgotten war on beepers?
So that's Pessimist Archive is a wonderful, Louis Enslow is a wonderful Twitter feed where, to my very heart, he puts in all kinds of old moral panics, old headlines and things, and he dredges them up to show us that we're not alone. So here he is reminding us that 30 years before parents and lawmakers sought to save youth from smartphones, there was a moral panic about young people and beepers. That it would expose them to drug dealers. And there was a moral panic about beepers and drug use. So he's just reminding
beepers, high-tech devices for narcotics dealers on the go.
And the schools are silencing them because they're dangerous. And we need to ban them for teenagers because teenagers always mess up everything.
What did they say were the ills?
That it would connect you to, it was stranger danger. Right? Somebody would connect with you, and that alone was they would send you a message, and there's heroin on the corner of 5th and Elm. Well, let me leave class and get there.
A pen and paper.
How can we expect students to say no to drugs when we allow them to wear the most dominant symbol of the drug trade on their belts? Says James Fleming of Dade Public Schools.
Yeah, we can't let them use cash either because drug dealers love cash.
Right.
Every drug dealer that's ever existed has drank this illicit substance called water. We need to ban it.
But then Big Beeper fights back.
So
teens
how
make
long
the case
was
for
Big Beeper
pagers.
actually big?
Oh, it was my son, bigger than you think. I had to carry as a reporter.
I remember. I'm just thinking, like, how long was Big Beeper actually big?
I think 10, 15 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Doctors all had to have beepers for a while. That's
doctors had beepers, yeah. Yeah, I think And then when I worked for Robert Maxwell, who was the robber baron who bought the New York Daily News, British, literally robber baron, and I had the old huge brick Motorola phone, and you had to carry beepers and phones at all times because he would want to get you at any moment of the day or night, and you had to leave them on at all times. And one time he tried to call me, and I was in the Lincoln Tunnel, and he couldn't get me. And he was pissed because the beeper didn't reach there.
Yeah, I just forgot. Like, my sister is a doctor, and she had a beeper up until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. But they didn't want the phones.
Well, I think also in hospitals, cell phones don't work. So hospitals, people service.
Well, they used to be the case.
Oh, it's not
they
anymore?
Used to block cell phones.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I don't know how these things work.
Can we take hats off? It's time for hats off.
No, my head was getting hot.
3.
Everybody, hats off.
I've committed. Oh, okay.
You're committed?
No, I peer pressured.
If you wear that around New York,
my hat is frankly too big for this hat. It keeps sliding off.
Your head is too big for a hot
said she had a big head, but good
Listen,
Lord.
it came to pass,
All right. Hey, I want to mention that tomorrow we are club members. We are doing a little watch party at the Laporte household. I just realized I've got a lot of work to do tonight because I have to prepare the brisket. Because I'm committed. I'm so sorry I committed to this, to make a brisket, which means 12 hours before the watch party tomorrow night, I have to get the brisket in the smoker, which means I have to prepare it tonight. So I have to run home and prepare the brisket. We will be watching Fritz Lang's immortal Metropolis, made in 1927. It's a silent movie about the future with robots and mind melds.
I think that will not get you taken down from YouTube.
It should be public domain. In fact, we believe it's public domain. I think there's a music.
I suppose you'll find out.
Well, I think it is.
Question is, does YouTube know
I'm
that?
trusting my staff. I don't know. Anyway, that should be a lot of fun. We're going to have a bunch of the Twit staff come over for a little dinner, and we'll stream the party, and you can watch along if you are in the club. We'll have a stage open, and join us. What time are we doing that? I forgot now. 7? 5 p.m. tomorrow. It means I have to put the brisket in around about 3 a.m. to this week.
I didn't know you were a brisket boy, Leo. Next time we have Ed Zitron on, we got to talk about brisket.
Is he a brisket guy?
He's a huge brisket boy, to the point where he would always post. I actually feel very personally bad about this. He would always post photos of his brisket whenever he was cooking it, marinating it, and then afterwards. And one time, sometimes brisket can look a little weird. And
it's
one
disgusting,
time, months ago, he posted a close-up shot of this brisket that looked frankly foul. And I responded, because me and Ed have a kind of fun relationship. I responded on Bluesky, Ed, what the F is that? And he immediately took it down and has never posted a photo of brisket again.
You killed poor Ed's briskets.
And I told him, I was like, I was just joking. But no, he's been shamed into never speaking about brisket publicly, so we do have to remedy that a little
bit. I had no idea. Well, next week, just a little program note. We were going to have Ed on this week. He had to change. We were going to then have him on next week. We realized we're doing Google I.O. So we're flip-flopping shows. If you like to watch Twig Live, we're going to do it Tuesday. Jeff and I will cover Google I.O. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time next Tuesday. And the Mac Break Weekly will be in this time slot, so don't be disoriented if you tune in to Mac Break Weekly's here. And if you do want to watch us live, we'll be covering the Google I.O.
Yeah, we'll make fun of Apple here.
Yeah, I mean, both Apple and Google have developer conferences in the next, Google's next week and Apple's in about a month, at which they will no doubt talk a lot about their AI strategy. They are both, really, I think, desperate to keep up with the Joneses being Sam Altman's OpenAI and Microsoft. So this.
But I also think, Leo, I talked about this with Jason on AI Inside. I think that Meta is the big spoiler here.
Yeah, well, I was the one wearing the Meta glasses. Free. Yeah, Llama.
Yeah, and it's hard to compete with free. It's the consumer end, and then otherwise it's open source. I think they could.
John has just handed me his beeper. Does this work? Oh, okay. This is the one where I press the button for emergencies. Right. It will beep you no matter where you are. I haven't worn them in like 5 years. He says we haven't worn them in 5 years.
Wait, what sort of emergencies would they be necessary for? Like a breaking podcast emergency?
Well, the last time I pushed it, and now I know why there was so little response. The last time I pushed it, there was water coming from the ceiling. Now I'm in the middle of a show, and of course, it's not a mission critical thing. We could stop, and I could say, "Hey, there's water coming from the ceiling."
There's a lot of electricity.
But I thought maybe I'll push the button, and engineering will come running in and fix whatever it was. What did happen is I got up and I said, "There's water coming from the ceiling," and Bert came in and pulled away the thing, and a waterfall came out. We had to cover everything in the studio. We never lost any equipment because of that. But it turned out that there was the condensation from the air conditioning was gathering in a puddle that wasn't being drained appropriately. Anyway, that's one example. Another one is, yes, you're right. Poco's reminding me. When I went to the bathroom without my key, got locked out. Which hasn't happened since then. Anyway, thank you.
Burke says, Leo, that was a blatant misuse of the button.
Anyway, I do have that button, but now that I know that it is not being monitored, I will not be so anxious to push it. I was a little disappointed to see this AI voiced audiobooks on Audible, 40,000 now on Audible.
Oh man!
But we even talked about this. They're pretty good. This is for authors who can't afford a human.
But here's the thing: it's not necessarily the publisher, not the author. The publishers pay for this. So it's part of the
it
deal.
depends. There are self-published books. I think
self-published books. Yes, it's different.
Yeah. So but you're right. It's published.
But I think it's more. I talked about this with Jason also. I think it's more. This is supply side. How to use AI to make the podcast to sell them, or the audiobooks to sell them. I want it on the demand side for the books that aren't on audiobooks. Now, yes, I can use the Kindle,
great use.
and I can have it read to me, but that's really crappy. Now that it's getting good, I want to use it for the audiobooks that don't exist as a customer.
We covered this story last year when Amazon announced that self-published authors, when they were making their books available on the Kindle store, could use an AI to read it. And I think that's what you're seeing on Audible, I would guess. 40,000 books.
40,000 of them.
At least
but if you look up,
they're marked that way.
Go to Audible. What do they call it? What's it? Something voice?
I don't know. Let me.
If you search for that, you'll see some pretty yucky titles.
Okay. This is, I see, narrated by virtual voice.
Virtual voice.
Every
so
boss has a soft spot.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Wait, can we go down to the publisher's summary?
Voice.
Well, see, they even say it's a virtual voice.
Every Boss Has a Soft Spot by Danielle May. Synopsis. What does it mean when two people meet under unusual circumstance 3 times in a row?
I mean, it's not as good as an actor, of course, but it's not awful. It's a lot better than your Kindle virtual voice. I mean, this is pretty good, I think. And it gives you, look, that's a romance novel, but it does give you an example of an author, self-published author who's not going to have be able to pay it costs $5,000 at least, right? To get an actor to narrate your audio.
Oh God! Now I'm reading all. I don't know if these aren't virtual voices, but I'm just seeing it brought up all kinds of weird titles. A Virgin's Heart, a Millionaire Thug's Dream. Death is Fiction, Fear and Illusion.
How about Pucking My Baby's Daddy?
What? I had to look at that 5 times. That's a hockey book.
But a brother's best friend small town romance is how Pucking My Baby's Daddy is described.
Now, there is also Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, a new translation. And Marcus was not available to do the book, so I think it's good. Let's see.
This title is narrated with virtual voice. Computer-generated narration for audiobooks.
I think the voices are good.
Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. The new translation by Marcus
25
Aurelius.
hours of that?
Yeah, no, maybe not.
Surprise baby for the billionaire bad boy.
Is it the Elon Musk story?
How to Quit Meth Now, Second Addiction.
I feel like these are a lot
Addition
of these are
or
also
addiction?
AI books, probably.
Addition.
Right?
You think maybe they're AI books?
I know that Amazon's being flooded with AI books right now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to Audible's credit, it is an Amazon company, but to their credit, they're very clearly labeling these anyway as virtual voice, and they even explain that. So
virtual voice, but they wouldn't know if the book was written by AI.
Yeah. One narrator, Ramon de Ocampo, responding on Twitter about the test, said virtual voices haven't taken all the jobs, but they're trying to. All right. I don't want to join the group of people panicked about job loss because of AI. All technologies cost jobs. I don't know. I mean, that's not a good thing.
I have an argument.
Photography.
If you want to get into it.
Go ahead, Benito Gonzalez.
Go ahead,
producer.
Benito.
Get into it.
It's the middle class.
Sing the International.
We lose the middle class, basically. We lose all the people who are trying to learn how to do the thing well by getting a job that teaches you how to do the job. Like I came into video production like right before HD video, so I was lucky. I got in the door while a lot was still all human. Everything was still pretty much human. Everywhere there's a job, one person did audio, one person did graphics, one person did the switch. So it was still very much like that. I was lucky. I know that there are no jobs like that anymore. And a lot of that is due to automation. And like how is anybody going to learn the skills now to actually become good at something if there are none of those jobs?
Well, you don't want to become good at something that a computer can do, I guess, would be my answer.
But you need to build those skills.
Have you ever considered septic tank maintenance?
No, not personally.
Plumbing, carpentry. There are jobs that the AI are not going to do.
Benito,
probably
when
better
cameras
jobs
came
than
out, illustrators and engravers lost their jobs, but then a lot more people got jobs. When the typesetting machine came out, the International Typographical Union said, instead of fighting this like it's a loom or a thresher, we're going to demand to take it over. And their jobs went down for a few years and then went way up because publishing exploded as a result of the efficiency. And it was only in the 1960s when they decided to fight the next technology, cold type, and they killed their union and 6 New York papers in one strike.
But AI is not about efficiency. AI is about replacement. It's not making a person.
It's
more
about
efficient.
generation. It's about mass
Exactly.
generation.
Well, it's also generating a commodity that is already commodified, which is content. We have to get past the idea that we make content. Content has no value anymore.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you on that one, but we're not there.
Yeah, it's a real challenge. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. But
we're too old. It won't matter to us.
Thank God I don't have to worry about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us take a. Did we already do all our breaks, Benito?
Yeah, we're good.
See, I need a human to do this. No AI could answer that question. All right. Well, then we're going to get to our picks of the week with Paris and Jeff. And I thought I'd throw one in. It's an AI pick of the week, and it's kind of fun. You need to have a picture of something somewhere. It's called geospy.ai. And apparently it's quite good. Now, we can take a picture, select a picture, and
you have lots of them, Leo.
Of a geographic area that is unidentified, right? So I guess I have in my Google Photos. Do you have one you might want to use, Jeff?
Do you have a photo of the Twit Studios from the outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that?
You think it'll be smart enough to recognize that?
I put one in from a well-known bunker museum in Berlin, and it told me it was in Hamburg.
Well, at least I knew it was in Germany, right?
Well, that's something.
Yeah. All right. Well, what about something like that? That could be anywhere in the world, right?
Oh, it's any catering place you've ever seen.
Well, I mean, I should take something that's more geographic.
Is this where you got married?
No, it's just no, it's not where we.
Why did you take a picture of that?
I don't know. It was let's see, something that's like distinctive, right? How about this?
I think that's good. Put that in there.
All right. Well, and then also do this. That could be anywhere.
Well, that's
too.
not fair. That could be anywhere. Yeah.
Well, I think both could. All right. Let me go back to GeoSpy and upload one of these pictures that I just. Where did I get them? Where did I put them?
It's probably in downloads.
Yeah. Where?
This man runs a tech podcast empire.
How do computers,
Watch him try.
How do computers work?
Control J.
Huh?
Control J should bring up your downloads.
Control J? Oh, you mean in the... how does this...
With his handy sidekick, Benito, he solves all kinds of problems with this new technology.
Can we start the whole show
You should
over?
call into this show, Ask the Tech Guys. It might be kind of
Start
helpful.
the whole thing over again. All right.
Yeah, let's do another 3 hours.
Oh, it doesn't
really
like
good.
that file type. All right. I bet it's not going to like this file type either, is it? Oh, you bugger.
I'm sure it's really cool, Leo.
You know,
I'm
I
sure
got
it's
a
cool and it
brisket to
works.
make here. I want to just get a... Let's just...
You got some meat to brine.
I got some... It's already...
There's a picture of brisket in the chat. Why don't you give it to the picture of brisket?
No, it's got to be a photo of a place.
Somebody in the chat, give him a picture of a place he can
It
screenshot.
can't handle that file type either.
Screenshot whatever you just
Oh,
tried
I
to
could do a
download.
screenshot of it, couldn't I? That's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
This is fantastic radio, guys.
Okay,
We're
give us your
really
pick of the week, Paris, and
firing.
I'll work on this here.
All right.
Now she's filler.
My pick of the week is I've been a big proponent of the auto transcription service Trent for a very long time. I think I've talked about it in the show. I like it for reasons that are too complicated to get into here. I've been looking for alternatives for our newsroom. And one, because I've heard Leo talk about Whisper from OpenAI being incredibly accurate. So I was looking into like, how could I potentially use Whisper? And I found this software product called Mac Whisper that really interested me, specifically because it's by kind of just these like indie developers. And basically, I mean, there's a version of it that's free and easy to use, as well as a paid version that costs like I think like $40 for the rest of your life, and it is fantastic. It is incredibly accurate, and I like it because it is like local. Like all transcription is done on your device, and no data leaves your machine. So it's great for like sensitive audio, which is what I mostly have to transcribe. And I've been playing around with it for the last week or so, and I really like it. It is super accurate, and you download it and you choose what version of the Whisper OpenAI model you want to load in it. So if you have maybe not that much space in your computer, or you don't have that much memory, you could choose a smaller model, or you could choose a model that transcribes in a different language or things like that. I chose one of the medium to large models in English. It was like 1.5 gigabytes or something. Took a bit to download, but now whenever I upload my transcripts into it, it's quick. I get basically completely done transcript in a couple of minutes, and it's pretty easy to search. So I'd highly recommend it.
Yes, I've been using it. I love it. I think, is that what we use for our transcripts? I can't remember. But it is very,
We use Podium.
Podium, that's right. But it's which I wouldn't be surprised is using Whisper, because this is an OpenAI model. Yeah, good choice. Mac Whisper. Is it free?
Yep.
Is it free?
Yes. So they have a free version that allows you to do basically everything. I tried except for you don't get access to some of the larger models and like some settings. But the free version is basically all you need. And then if you want to get the Pro model, I really like it that you just pay for, I think it's $29 or something like that for a lifetime license, no subscription.
But it's only on Mac.
It is only on
There are versions for all platforms.
There are
Whisper is just a
versions.
model.
Yeah, Whisper is the
Look for Whisper.
underwriting aspect of that.
All right, here's a picture. What do you think of this picture? Is that sufficiently...
That's perfect picture.
Perfect, right?
Sausalito?
It is, but don't tell this thing, whatever it is, GeoSpy. I'm going to load this picture. It's going to look at this picture. Let's see if it can figure out, using AI, where this is.
Venice.
It says Sausalito.
Sausalito.
The photo was taken from a high angle overlooking a bottom of water.
It gave the coordinates. Wow.
It says sunny day. It gave us longitude and latitude. That's pretty impressive.
That's good.
Okay, because that was a picture I took. That's not from some internet source that it could source it back to, and it even put it on Google Maps. And yeah, that's pretty much where it was. And it also found related buildings and locations. Wow. All right.
That's crazy.
All right.
Now, this looks like something criminals would just love.
Oh my God! Just think of all the uses. I'm never again
like a
posting.
mighty nice house to go rob.
Yeah, I'm never again posting pictures of my house. In fact, let's call off this whole watch party thing. That was a terrible idea.
Ask for the Sopranos New Jersey house.
Okay.
See if it knows if it gives you the address.
So I need to get an image of that first.
Yes.
Because it's image based. That was pretty impressive, the Sausalito.
That was actually quite impressive.
Yeah. Okay, here is the Sopranos house. God, these people live in Tony Soprano's house.
They do.
Wow. And they're selling it. Oh, there is the kitchen. What?
Yep.
So they shot it in the house. It wasn't just an exterior.
Originally they did. Then I think they then built a.
See, the problem I have with this, I don't think this is as useful because we don't know if it's read the Times article. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was better that it was a picture that I took that it had never seen, has never been published anywhere, and still could identify it.
Well, go to the listing for the house you're selling. Just don't show it to us. See if it gets it right.
No, I'm not going to. Good try, Jeff. Nice try. What is your pick of the week, my friend?
All right. So, are you familiar with the most boring man in the world?
I'm on a podcast with him every day.
That's a loaded question, isn't it?
There was a freebie.
I am not. Who is the most? I'm actually curious. Who is the most boring man in the world?
Insomniacs swear by dull narrators who put them to sleep. So there's a guy who made supposedly the most boring video ever in 1989, explaining how to use Microsoft Word.
Late last year, Randy Smith got a text from a complete stranger. She thanked him for putting her to sleep. This is from the Wall Street Journal piece by Spencer Jacob. Smith was shocked to discover he was a YouTube star. The Ormond Beach, Florida retiree was even more surprised about why. A tutorial he recorded and sold as a VHS tape in 1989 on how to use Microsoft Word had resurfaced as, quote, the most boring video ever made. All right, well, let's go watch the most, with, by the way, got to point out, 3.2 million views. It says the topic may be dry, but Randy Smith is an absolute legend. Let's jump ahead.
As I pull down this file menu, you will notice that the word hope does not appear. You will also notice that there is no such thing as Command M for miracle.
If you scroll over the timeline, it'll show you the most viewed part of the video.
I guess.
So we can see where people where. Oh, look at this. Here's the peak right there.
There we go.
Is based on selecting. You've always got to select first and tell the computer this is what I'd like to have you work on. Okay, the next function is called deleting. I want to take something out of my document.
Oh my God, you can delete? Wow.
Simple. Deleting
all I can say is there, but for the grace of God go I. I have made many videos just like this.
Some of them it says delete, same key.
Are you a little jealous, Leo?
I am.
If I would like to get rid of the word workshop, I simply select it and hit my backspace key. Select backspace.
Backspace?
If I wanted to
you didn't backspace.
Document right
you
now,
erased.
I thought you said delete.
Select the entire document, hit my backspace key, and it would all be gone.
I can't believe this is the most viewed part. Here's another one. This is called That Escalated Quickly.
I'd like one right there, and I'd like one way over there. Now you'll notice it put the little arrow in my ruler so I see it. Now if I hit my tab button, it automatically goes over to 2. Goes to 3 and goes over to 4.5. And when I backspace, it goes back to those same settings. So to set a tab, simply click on the one you want, go up into the
backspace will delete. I'm confused.
Tab. Now you can still move them if you'd like. You can move them over to where you'd like them. Now, if for some reason you don't want those tabs anymore,
I wonder who he recorded this for.
Click on it, pull it
he
out
sold
of
it as a
ruler,
VHS.
and get rid of it.
This is like his way of
disappeared. So
there's some work he put into this. This you can do easily now, but doing that, his head in there and all that, this is a little hard to do.
Over to our 2-inch tab mark.
It looks expensive, actually, for 1989.
Now the next thing I want to do is put a column of numbers, and I don't know how many of you have tried.
I wonder if. All right, now I'm taking a chance. I wonder if the show that I made called Internet! !
Oh my God!
It's still around anywhere. The problem is, my name is too easy to find stuff with me.
Yeah, that's terrible SEO
on YouTube. But
Who was it by?
PBS. Let's see if I can find it.
We'll search that.
No, it's not. It's not coming up.
Oh, come on, you can't search internet. Come on.
I know, but I put the exclamation mark in there. I know it's around somewhere. It might be on. I wonder if it's on archive.org. It is. I would say as boring. if not more so.
What year?
It's not called The Internet Show?
Oh, maybe. Did you find it? Am I in it?
Oh, wait, no. On television, Laporte was the host of Internet, a weekly half-hour show airing on PBS in 215 cities.
Yes.
What year was it on, Leo? We'll try that.
What year was it on, Paris?
It doesn't say.
I think it was 93, maybe 94, something like that.
Can we hold on a second? I gotta.
Here we go. The Internet Archive has it.
What's
the Internet
it called?
Show?
No, the Internet Show is something different.
John Levine and Gina Smith.
Yeah, that was my friend Gina did that one. That one's a little jazzier. It starts out with them driving in a car. Mine wasn't quite so exciting. Well,
no cars involved.
Somebody will. No, it was so terrible. I'm kind of embarrassed that it even existed. And I'm kind of glad that I can't find it. But I guarantee
Wait, can we
it
talk
was
about
just as
these
boring.
photos? Can we talk about these photos I've just posted in the chat that came up?
Of my book?
Yeah.
Of your books. They're both quite good.
There's 13 of them, Paris. It doesn't
I
end
bought
there.
those books for my son.
There are quite a few of them.
I'm going to buy some of these online.
I have the whole shelf
Fact of the week.
Oh, yeah.
If you got any extra, Leah, send them my way. I can add them to my old internet book collection.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot you collected these. Well, by then I wasn't writing them. You see that second name? That's the person who did all the work. I was just...
You were just the face?
I was just the face, yeah.
Man, you had a ghost?
I had an imprint. It was the Leoville imprint on Pearson, on Q Books. There were quite a few of them. I wrote the first few, but it was such a grueling, painful, and unpleasant process that I never did it again. And they would just hire a ghost, and I would edit it or something. I would do some things, but not much. It was the SEO of books, really. And by the way, to this day, people will come with them, and I will sign them. I think the last event we had, somebody had one of my books, and I signed it. This is the first one, and it's on eBay. Oh, how exciting. No, this is the second one, the 2003 Technology Almanac. That was quite a photo shoot.
$22, Paris. You can still grab it.
Not too late.
Yeah, I will.
Michael, why are you selling this, Michael Crow-Taylor? Why are you selling it? You know, the 2005 Technology Almanac is a lot better deal. It's only $2.
Make an offer for $1.
Wait a minute. When did they shoot those pictures?
Oh, I like the cowboy hat one.
I found it, Leo. I found it.
Where'd you find it?
On the Internet Archive, because you're that old. Hold on, I'll put it in chat.
It's in the Wayback Machine?
I think I found it.
I don't even think this guy on a motorcycle is me.
Try this.
Oh my God.
That's it.
It's so good.
And this
It
really
starts
looks
so
like that
well.
guy, by the way, doesn't it? Don't I look like that guy?
Can we play it?
Yeah, here we go. Oh, God, I'm embarrassed. This was the some corner of a soundstage somewhere.
Oh, I'm guessing the video is not there anymore.
Oh, it's just an image.
The video is here for me. You've got to click on the link. Oh, wait, no, yeah, the one that Jeff posted. It's there.
Oh, this is it. You like that modem sound?
That's a good
I
opening.
love that.
That's great.
This week
Oh,
on Enter
yes.
$300 selling out or cashing in. It isn't just business as usual. Net culture gives and takes. Manners.
That
for
it
the polite
does.
Surfer.
94.
Looking for a good Samaritan. A crisis on the net. What's a parent to do?
Oh, parents. Oh, moral panic. Early moral panic.
Don't just get onto the net, get into it.
Leo, I am going to
I did not write any of this.
indulge a little bit this evening and watch this. That's going to be my plan.
Telephones and other information access products. Proud to join you in support of public television. U.S. Robotics, the intelligent choice in access.
Wow, USR ads.
Hello, I'm Leo Laporte.
Oh, the audio's terrible.
30 minutes.
It's a VHS.
Going to take you on a tour of the worldwide network of computers known as the Internet. Our journey starts as always.
This would put you to sleep well, I think.
And a connection to the Internet. Like a living thing.
What kind of computer was that?
Becoming more
attached to the story, essentially. So that
wow, we had interviews.
With technological answers. Several companies now offer software that can...
Were you reading off a teleprompter?
Oh, yeah. I hate teleprompters.
Programs like Surfwatch.
I don't think I even wrote this. I can't remember if I wrote it or
adult
not.
Sites on the web and in the discussion groups. The commercial online services have also stepped up their self-policing, and they all now offer ways to block adult areas. If you're on America Online, for instance, you can use the
Oh, God, I'm getting sleepy just watching this.
turn off the most offensive
Jesus.
sectors of the
I'm
service.
transfixed.
I would go down to Albuquerque to tape
Is one that
these.
will go on for some time to come. But the good
Was that the
news
only
is
place that had a
both free
computer?
speech advocates
think
and
so.
those advocating
No,
greater
I can't. I
responsibility
the
and
whole.
censorship
I've
are
only
having a
dimly.
dialogue
I think
that
I
in the
blocked
long
this
run
out.
benefits
I
Is
only
that computer
dimly
just a
remember
prop?
this. Yeah, oh yeah.
Prop from something?
Oh yeah. The whole thing's a prop.
Yeah, that thing would have cost.
Look at the
$3,000.
graphic. Oh.
Oh, yes.
Scare yourself silly? Would you like to give yourself goosebumps?
So she's now a 42-year-old crap stealer in Reno. So no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know who she is. I've never met her.
to help them do it. You'll find pointers to all the sites we visited this week
I'm
and
so
more
embarrassed.
on our own website. So point your
Leo, this is
browser
great.
Oh, and while you're there, drop us a line. We'd love to hear your
OnTheInternet.com.
suggestions.
Where does that go now? Where does
I'm
that go
Leo
now?
Laporte.
I'm looking.
Thanks for
Oh,
joining me.
great
See
question.
you next week on Internet.
Can't be reached.
If you need a little help
And then
getting
I
launched into
pretend to type
cyberspace, order the
on that
Internet
dummy
Getting Started
keyboard.
video for $24.95 plus shipping and handling.
$25
Call
to get started on the internet.
1-888 for the net.
Yeah. I think we only did one season. I don't remember doing more than that. I blocked that whole thing out. That was early before I got into, MSNBC and all that stuff. That was a long time ago.
So what was your day job then? Radio?
So if that was 94, no, I think what was happening at that point is I was transitioning from radio. I was working for Ziff Davis, I think, helping them do their TV stuff. That was done right before I started working at MSNBC, I think.
I don't think Paris has ever seen your virtual character from MSNBC.
Oh, well, we'll leave that
What?
for another day. I've got a brisket to treat. Yeah, I did I actually won an Emmy. I won a regional Emmy for that. So don't knock it, okay? Yeah, it was a Dev Null. Just search for Dev Null on the site, and you can be regaled with me and Soledad O'Brien talking about the good old days.
Wait. How do you okay, Dev and then that
She's going to make me do it, isn't she? It's on YouTube.
Oh, we gotta watch this. I'm sorry. We actually do have to watch this.
We've all seen it. You're the only one who hasn't seen it, sad to say.
Okay.
But the reaction.
Actually, this is pretty funny because this is Soledad talking about me on the site with Scott Rogowski on Running Late.
Career stretches back over 20 years. And 30 years. Well, anchoring, I was talking about.
yeah.
I want to go back to what I think was your first big break.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're going there.
Okay. Do you know who this guy is? Is interviewing her?
He's from HQ Trivia.
Thank you. Very good. I'm impressed. He had the shortest, briefest window of fame ever.
But he was the man.
He was the
during
man
that
for
1 month.
15 minutes. Absolutely. And I love his suit.
So that was one of the very first anchors on the network on a show called The Site. And you had a sidekick. You want to tell him who your sidekick was?
So they gave me this guy. The show was pre-taped, but they gave me this guy whose name was Dev Null, which I guess means like an empty file, essentially.
Like a programming joke.
A program. Haha, get it? Dev Null, empty file. Programmers everywhere think that's hysterical. That was kind of why the show got canceled after a little over a year. Anyway, so he was a guy, actually a really terrific guy who covered technology and named Leo Laporte, but who wore a motion suit. So I had to stare at a piece of tape on the wall while Leo would basically talk in my ear, and you would see me talking to this virtual character, which I was confident would ruin my career and I would never work again. And I had a provision in my contract that if I hated it, I could get out of it.
Really?
Yeah.
And this was early.
And she, by the way, she hated it. But you know what she hated even more? When Dev Null won an Emmy Award, and she had to go with me to the Emmy Awards and watch me accept an Emmy Award for that show.
Geez.
Were you dressed as Dev Null?
Yeah, no, but they
You couldn't be.
Well, oh yes, you could. So I was there normally, but Dev Null hosted the local Emmys that year.
Oh no, I didn't know that part.
These are all things I've been trying so hard to forget. You want to see me sing? Sing with Soledad? Here you go.
Don't forget to check out our website at thesite.msnbc.com or www.thesite.com. I'm Soledad O'Brien. Good night.
We have this sign, the site sign.
Call you up, best a dime, and you say you belong to me, and ease my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine.
That's pretty good.
It's my singing debut, and weirdly, the end of my singing career.
Wow.
At the same time. Okay. Let's say goodnight, everybody. Sorry we subjected you to that trip down memory lane. Miss Paris Martineau, you're done with your Jonah Peretti piece. That was great.
What's next, Paris?
Really enjoyed that.
It's a great question. It's a great question, guys, and I've got to figure out the answer.
Oh,
to it,
so what is the process now? You come up with something?
Yeah, I got to come up with something.
You know,
got to chase down some leads.
I think it'd be a great story to talk about how in the early days of the internet, there was this guy who wore this wetsuit and talked on TV to Soledad O'Brien about the internet culture.
His name was Dev Null.
Dev Null.
He had purple hair.
Yes.
And a strange blue polka dotted jacket.
It'd be a marvelous.
I think the information subscribers would really like that.
Hey, there would be no Gollum without Dev Null.
That's true. It was similar technology to Gollum. You're exactly. I didn't even think of that. I should have auditioned for that. Darn it. What was I thinking?
There would be no Gollum without Dev Null.
There
has to be the show title.
No Gollum without Dev Null. Thank you, Paris. I appreciate you putting us up with this
Thank you, Dev.
old farts here. Thanks to Jeff Jarvis.
Mr. Null to you, young lady.
Jeff is the former emeritus director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York, New York.
What happens? The sun goes down and everything turns orange.
The
funniest thing was that Jeff goes, "What the hell happened?" and clearly starts clicking on something to make himself less yellow, and it gets more yellow. Significantly more yellow.
Well, you're pretty pink, lady. So
yeah, I mean, listen, it's not doing well.
I guess it's nighttime on the East Coast. The sun has gone down. Have a wonderful week, you guys. Remember, we are shifting times. Jeff and I will be talking about Google I/O on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be covering the keynote and then analyzing it. And Benito, we're going to find somebody a third because Paris, unfortunately, is working. She's got a job, unfortunately, on Tuesday. But we will be back with you in 2 weeks, Paris. And, of course, at this time, you'll hear Mac Break Weekly. So we're going to swap with Mac Break Weekly next week on the network. I thank you for being here. We'll be back. I'll be back on Sunday for Ask the Tech Guys and This Week in Tech. Meanwhile, I hope you have a wonderful week. You can catch this show on the internet at twit.tv/twig. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to it. And, of course, you can subscribe in your favorite podcast. If you want to watch us do it live, it's normally every Wednesday from about 2 to 5 p.m. Pacific. That's 5 to 8 Eastern, 2100 UTC. The YouTube channel is, of course, youtube.com/twit. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye. On the internet.